Panago Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
Where is Tony X?
He's fine.
Where is that man?
He is in, you know what? Vegas has lots of slot machines and crazy gambling. Certain things are legal there that are not only illegal, but frowned upon as immoral in a lot of places, yeah. Not like St. Louis, though. Pretty wholesome and easy to sleep through a flight.
Oh, wholesome. Interesting choice of words.
Yes.
So hold on. Before we say that, we should introduce our guest.
No, we shouldn't.
At the Justin Fisher on Twitter, because you're known by your Twitter handle before your actual name, which is Justin Fisher.
Hi.
How's
it going?
It's good, buddy. It's
good to be back.
He's got his Austin Matthews 2016 shirt on. He's ready. He's ready.
Not as good as
He's going up to the camera right now.
I got my Tennessee Titans jersey on for no good reason, other than we all went to high school together, and Jesse's here too.
Steve, Jesse, I want you to know that Steve did not know until I told him downstairs what position Eddie George played.
I thought he was a quarterback. I didn't even know.
And neither of them knew who the current quarterback was.
The Titans.
Can you name him?
Super Mario, whatever his name.
Is it Winston? Jameis Winston?
No,
that's the Buccaneers.
No, well then I don't know.
It's Marcus Mariota, for those keeping track at home.
For
Did
those
we
of you-
confirm that?
No. Can we confirm that? All
For
right,
those
so
of you
let's,
listening for the first time, this is a hockey show.
yeah. So how do we? Okay, so let's explain the Tony X situation for anybody that might have missed it.
Okay,
Really quick.
During Game 7 of the St. Louis Blues versus Chicago Blackhawks series, this Twitter user named Tony X was basically watching hockey for the first time, and he was like, "This game's crazy!" And like, of all the games he could have picked to watch,
He's like, he tweeted like, "White people have been hiding this sport."
Yeah, white people have been hiding hockey from us. What the hell is this? Little did he know, he's like watching one of the best games of the playoffs, if not the best. And he kind of turns into this folk hero. You know, the Blues start tweeting at him. The NHL starts tweeting at him. I think he got to go to a Blues game for free.
They gave him a Tarasenko jersey.
They gave him a Tarasenko jersey. I think Tarasenko tweeted at him. I'm sure the Blues and Tarasenko and EA Sports would have loved if he was there because Tarasenko was on the cover of NHL 17. Probably would have been great to get a picture of him with that.
So because
I'm
here's
sure
the
it was
thing,
in the plans.
we saw this tweet from the NHL Twitter account that's like, "Yo, Tony X, where are you?"
Yeah, it's like hashtag Tony
'Cause-
MIA or whatever.
Because they flew this Tony X
Yeah.
to Vegas.
Well, yes, for the NHL awards. Supposedly he was supposed to be a presenter. And so what happened? Pete Blackburn actually got the scoop. Our boy Pete
out.
Blackburn
How
from
did he get the
Up Rocks.
scoop?
I think because he has a podcast and Tony X was on it. And so he just reached out to him. What happened was he didn't quite make it on time for his flight. So his last tweet is a picture of like him at the airport with his ticket. But it's 41 minutes before his flight. So he didn't make it. He missed it. So he's going to get on the next flight, which would have got him to Vegas for like 3:30. Still lots of time. Tons of time. So he's like, well, since I got lots of time, I'm going to go home. Goes home, accidentally falls asleep.
No! You never leave the airport once you get there.
No.
Oh, and my question is, how close does this guy live to the airport? Like, it wasn't a giant gap.
And there's like so many things you can do at an airport. Like
An airport is
read a
basically, it's like the
magazine.
Vatican.
Yeah.
Every airport is like the Vatican. It's a tiny little city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except there's probably more restaurants.
With your $14 ham and cheese sandwich. It's very good ham and cheese
and
sandwich.
every version of every restaurant you go to in an airport is definitely as good as all the ones outside the airport. Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
For
and
sure.
they're definitely not serving all the same food.
So anyway, there was like, it went from, oh my God, Tony X totally got a free flight to Vegas, ghosted the NHL awards.
Oh, my God.
And then it went to, oh my God, what happened to this guy? Like, oh my God, it's Las Vegas. Something could have happened to him. And then it turns out he never left St. Louis.
Everybody was thinking the worst.
Dude, I went to Vegas. I almost didn't come back. Like,
Yeah, well, you
can't happen.
I wish it had been a story like that.
There's a canyon there.
Well,
like
like
you could fall in it.
True.
And then that's it.
you thought it was like The Hangover? Just Tony
I
X
was
hanging out with
hoping.
Zach Galifianakis?
I was hoping
With a
for a
baby?
better story than I went home and fell asleep and missed my second
Fell
flight.
asleep in St. Louis. No offense to St. Louis. I mean,
We aren't hoping that something bad happened to him, but like maybe just a little bit more exciting.
Yeah.
falling asleep.
Yeah. Like he was out ripping it up and, you know, whatever he was doing was more interesting than the NHL awards. And then we could say, well, I would have been there too. Screw the NHL awards.
Tarasenko fan, Tony X, comes home with $91,000, just like his jersey number. There's a story.
There's a headline.
And a movie.
And you won't believe what he spends it on next.
When I found out, I still have goosebumps.
Wow. Damn, good one. That's a good little
Doctors are angry at him.
What? Traitors hate him.
Yes.
This 6-year-old woman has a secret to flawless skin, and doctors hate her and stuff. Doctors are very hateful people.
I love when they ask 122-year-old people, like how old or how they got to be that old. At that point, you literally... you should just say it's flat effing luck. Yeah. That is it. Yeah. But these people are like, well, I drank whiskey every day and I sleep a lot. F you, man. No, you won the genetic lottery and you just happen to avoid every single disease that took everyone else out.
I'm going to start that tomorrow. Next year's headline, local blogger dies at 29.
for drinking whiskey, yes.
Should we talk about the NHL awards at all?
Yeah, I mean,
because a lot of people want to hear about a certain award.
The fact that Panarin got the Rookie of the Year award and not McDavid.
Oh, not that one.
Or the fact that, like, Jim Rutherford won General Manager of the Year after only 6 months ago we called for his head on a pike.
Well, and I also believe he won the GM of the Year award 2 weeks ago when he won the Stanley Cup.
Right, yes.
That's what that award is.
Yes. Could it be the announcement that Las Vegas will actually get a franchise?
Oh, well, I mean, that really was the award of the night.
Agreed.
The Las Vegas won an NHL team. You can't, the Selke doesn't beat that.
That's right. But it couldn't be that Carlson got robbed, could it?
Did Carlson get robbed from
Burns?
Now confirmed Norris Trophy winner Drew Doughty?
I think Carlson got robbed, and I think Brent Burns got robbed.
Wow. You think Doughty was third?
Yeah.
Justin?
I think Carlson's first. Actually, what was more offensive to me was like PK Subban in like 8th. Or something, or
that is just
or something
that
like
makes me sick.
Like way
really?
down there. Yeah, that was actually the more offensive thing to me.
There were a few I liked.
Like, no offense to Roman Josi, but like PK Subban.
Yeah, who are you getting on your team in the fantasy draft?
Well,
Roman Josi, PK Subban.
Who's decent? Francois Beauchemin. Beauchemin. Someone who was voting for the Norris gave Beauchemin a vote.
I think Klingberg.
Get out of here, man! Like, how do you write about hockey? How do you cover the sport?
I think Klingberg came in ahead of Subban too. Like
that's absurd.
Like,
that's so stupid. But hey, you know what? Drew Doughty is elite. He's a great defenseman. I don't think he was the best defenseman in the NHL this year. He may have been robbed in the past. Hey, I guess the joke's dead. He won. And by the joke's dead, I mean our listeners will find a way to keep it going.
Oh my god, my mentions exploded.
You tweeted, you're like, I wonder if I can have my Instagram comments back. Oh, Adam.
No.
Oh, sweet naive Adam.
No.
Oh, darling.
No. Subban actually finished in 14th.
Wow.
14th.
Behind the likes of Giordano, Bufflin, Keith, Weber, Ekman Larson, Suter, Hedman, Klingberg, Josi, Letang, Burns, Carlson, Doughty.
I mean, those are all great defensemen.
I was going to say, there's a lot of really good defensemen.
Does Roman Josi stand out as the one that maybe shouldn't be there? Maybe John Klingberg as well?
Yeah.
Well, it also shows. It also shows.
I just enraged two fan bases there, but
it also shows how differently people think. Like,
yes,
someone thinks Roman Josi is so good that he's even better than Shea Weber, and other people are like, no, Shea Weber, like as if Nashville has two Norris candidates. Like
Jesse just started laughing at that comment.
Come on.
Well,
relax. Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember, and I granted, I didn't watch a lot of Nashville hockey, but were Weber and Josi on the same defensive pairing?
I think they are.
So
I think they usually do.
Did you hear one person the entire season talk about?
No, Adam, they're the new Pronger Niedermeyer.
That's what I'm saying. Are they the new Pronger Niedermeyer?
No. Like, you can't have...
Hold on. I didn't quite catch that. Can you guys repeat that one more?
No.
Okay, all right.
Jesse, just care to weigh in?
Maybe.
According to votes, survey says. Bananas.
That's awesome.
But you know what? I mean, good for Drew Doughty. And it's funny because I did tweet, and anybody that doesn't get the Drew Doughty joke on the Steve Dangle podcast is instantly offended when I tweeted last night, P.S. Doughty didn't deserve the Norris. I got so many people who clearly were not in on the joke, and I'm like, how have you missed this? But they're like, excuse me. He absolutely... Hard caps lock. It's like I put a brick on my caps lock. It's you're never taking it off again.
That's damaging your computer.
You are. But I feel that passionately about it. People that don't follow me, stuff like that. You know, because it gets retweeted and then someone gets mad and.
It's okay to say someone is extremely good at what they do and also not a candidate for an award, or not someone who should have won.
To be fair,
you can compliment. You can say Drew Doughty should have came second, and people will be offended.
Yeah,
he's the second best defenseman in the NHL.
What in your minds makes Karlsson the guy?
Who scores 80+ points as a defender? Who?
But is that a candidate for the best defenseman, or is that the best offensive defenseman?
We're acting like.
Are we going to split it up?
I don't know.
I know.
Is it over? Does that make the best overall player?
I think there's already too many awards to begin with. Like, I mean, look, who cares about the Marc Messier Leadership Award? I'm sorry.
How does one even quantify that?
That was good timing. Thank you, TV.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sportsnet.
Yeah. How does one quantify that?
The Leadership Award?
Yeah. How do you decide?
Here are
Does
his
Marc
qualifications.
Messier decide himself?
Is a captain. Is not PK Subban. There you go. And now everyone will vote for him. I'm kidding. You know what? I wanted to join the outrage train over Subban not getting anything, but I feel like we already did that.
Well, I've been outraged since he wasn't picked for Team Canada. Just like I was outraged about Phil Kessel not being picked for Team USA. It's like, let's actively make bad choices.
That, changing pace a little bit, is a story just waiting. Because Ryan Callahan dropped out. Because he has surgery. Yeah. So, by the way, Ryan Callahan's on Team USA. So he can't be on Team USA anymore. Phil Kessel is definitely the most likely candidate to replace him, right? Please say no, Phil.
Jay Pandolfo comes out of retirement. Joe Mullen. Pittsburgh Penguins great Joe Mullen.
You're good. I'm trying to think of vague Team America players.
Joe Mullen, I think, is the American player who scored the most points ever.
No, he's
I'm
not.
Fairly sure. And it's a funny story with him.
It's definitely
I think it is. Is it
Medano? Jeremy Roenick or Mike Medano?
He used to be then. Before Medano
Jesse's
retired.
laughing because he knows you're like categorically incorrect.
He was at one point, though.
Yeah, and like 94.
He was the first American player to score 500 goals in the NHL.
There you go.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There you go. See?
I didn't know that.
See?
And reach 1,000 points.
And you know what's interesting about him is that he didn't start playing hockey till he was 12 years old.
Like James Reimer.
Is that right?
Well, he didn't start playing organized hockey until he was 12.
Wow.
And the rest is history.
Sure is.
For his church team, right? Like it was
something like
it was
that.
something like it was his it was like,
very Manitoba.
It's not like he was like, I'm 12, I'm gonna go play at the highest possible level. It was like,
we're just gonna strap this on and see what happens.
In town.
Wow.
And it belongs to the church, so I'm gonna go there.
Man.
What's more shocking? Subban or Don Maloney receiving one GM of the Year award vote?
That was from Gary Bettman for making the John Scott trade.
Now, in that,
allegedly.
By the way, that award is such a huge joke too, because it's about where your team is. Will we not agree that Lou Lamoriello and company, I guess, did a fantastic job with the Leafs, considering what they were doing? Not a single vote, like not even a fifth place vote.
No. Well, because Steve,
the Leafs were bad.
That would be encouraging tanking.
Oh my goodness!
I can't believe that you're making this all about the Toronto Maple Leafs right now.
Well, I mean, I should make it about a noble and reputable organization.
You know what?
Just
screw you guys. I'm going to go start a podcast with Mike Harrington. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
And Andrew Peters. It's going to be great.
To meet him. Yeah. I might meet both. I'm going to the sunny land of Buffalo.
Maybe for your first
Tropical
episode,
Buffalo.
you can have Buffalo Sabres Steven Stamkos on.
Oh,
yeah, that'd be fun.
Interesting you bring that up. I read this morning, and I'm sure you did too. Was it 12? They're prepared to go to $12 million on Steven Stamkos.
I kind of want Stamkos to go to the Sabres. I'm not going to lie.
Let him.
I want
Let him.
What? I want an evil empire for the Leafs to defeat.
Here's the thing. You give Steven Stamkos $12 million, you have handcuffed your team for a long time financially.
You've severely misread the situation.
Okay, but what's going on here? Tell us.
The Toronto Maple Leafs are the evil empire.
Yeah, I don't like that, though.
Why? We're always embrace it.
Dude, Stamkos goes to the Sabres. They are immediately the evil empire.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's how it works in Star Wars. The evil empire wins for like 30 years, and the rebels win one time.
Yeah.
Okay?
There's a movie about
30 Stanley Cups, 1 Stanley Cup. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'm with you. Adam really is the smartest person on this podcast.
Jesse and I take offense to that.
You say really
Jesse
is like people have been saying that, and you didn't just make it up right now.
I said it. Yes.
Finally, it's confirmed.
I have a friend. I finally have an ally. No, but the thing is that
Tumblr loves Adam. Reddit loves Adam.
Do they?
Fisher.
Oh, I bet Tumblr. Oh, I wouldn't even know.
No.
Is Tumblr bad?
Stay off Tumblr.
All right, fine. But yeah, I guess I would assume that the report came out of Buffalo,
Of course it did.
just like it did with Babcock. And I don't doubt that they'll be in. I just think you've got so many options if you're Steven Stamkos, and he is going to free agency. We know that. He's come this far. Why would he not go?
I think he tests free agency, but I think, like Chris Johnson said, I think there's a great chance he goes back to Tampa. I don't know how the heck they fit him.
He's going to make it to July 1st, and he's going to talk to everybody.
There's no reason not to.
But that's the thing, is that I think that if you are the person that goes to free agency and all of a sudden you get to see everything else that's out there, it becomes that, as soon as July 1st hits, it becomes that much harder to go back.
Well, and it's not even July 1st this year. It's different.
Yeah,
you can start talking day 2 of the draft. So we're less, I think we're
48 hours.
Like 48 hours away from things getting real goofy. I think less because teams know now. It is essentially, it's like June 30th right now in most years because other teams can start talking to your players.
Yeah.
It's about to go nuts. I hope it happens during this show. I kept tweeting. I'm like, come on, something happened in the next 90 minutes. Or not until tomorrow.
So we have Justin on, just in case you were wondering. We have him on to talk about the draft.
Who is this guy?
We have him on to talk about the draft, which we'll get to in the second segment of the show. But since we're on trades and free agency and all that stuff, Justin, we got to talk about your thoughts on Frederik Andersen. And by the way, Justin, if you don't know, was the head editor of TheLeafsNation.com this year. And we're not sure when you're coming back to blogging, but you're coming back, right?
Yeah.
For now, he's Snarky Man on Twitter.
Before we get ahead of ourselves and take Justin's opinion seriously, he texted me, "Do we like this deal?" Go ahead and tell them what I told you. Go ahead.
I asked you what you thought, and then you yelled at me because you were like, "I'm making a video. You can wait until then."
Wow.
And how dare you interrupt me?
And I don't watch his videos.
Lest he lose a view. He teases you forward. Okay, so
I like almost everything about the trade and the contract and everything like that.
The contract too.
Yeah, I do. Because I looked it up. I looked at sort of what starting goaltenders make.
Yes.
And
he
honestly,
is one.
He's going to be one, so he should be paid as one. Hopefully he's as good as a starting. He's a good starting goaltender.
Fourth time the Leafs have done this in recent memory. They traded for a goalie and anointed him the number one right away.
But without brains in their heads the last 3 times.
So but
Steve, it's true.
I can't let my guard down like that.
Okay, and that's fair, but you have to at least give this management group credit.
I'll give it a shot.
Good. That's all I ask.
I'll be a good sport.
Okay.
So my question, because there's a lot of people who their immediate reaction was something like, "Hey, we should have got a goaltender with, more experience, better numbers, whatever." That was the concern. But how do you get those goaltenders?
You pay more.
Like how? No, do you? Think about all the goaltending trades that have happened recently. The ones that ended up taking off, like Ben Bishop and Devin Dubnyk and stuff like that, like. One, nobody saw Devin Dubnyk coming.
Blind luck.
And wasn't Bishop traded for like Corey Conacher?
Blind luck.
Those goaltenders, they were not great goaltenders.
Even Martin
to begin
Jones
with,
was a
right?
risk, right?
Martin Jones was a risk
It's an
too. Like,
enormous risk. Luongo was a salary dump.
yeah, Luongo's a kind of a different, altogether type.
Yeah, because
of
Vancouver
situation,
lost their
but-
mind and forgot
Because
that
he was
a
never
great goalie.
actually bad.
No,
But
no.
I really believe that you have to luck into goaltending. Whether you're drafting a goaltender and you luck into a good one, or you're trading for a goaltender and you luck into them developing into something better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing about acquiring goaltenders, is that every single one of them you have to take a risk on, right? What makes a goaltender, besides the numbers, what makes a goaltender attractive or unattractive is their contract. Like, that's really what people get upset about.
That's pretty much every player in this league right now.
But I think more so for goaltenders. Like, I just feel, because I mean, for some reason people get very antsy about, well, the one thing they get antsy about is the number 5.
Well,
As
five and
soon
up.
as you
And
hit,
rightfully so.
As soon as you hit 5, as soon as you hit that number,
Change game.
it's scary. Would you be upset if Frederick Andersen was making like the same? Like, isn't Bernier making like 4.2 or something like that?
4.15.
Would you be upset with like a low 4?
Absolutely not.
No.
Okay, so
Even
we're
4.5, right?
4.5. So we're talking about $500,000, a little bit more than $500,000, too much than what people think, which really at the goaltending position is not something that's going to burn you. Actually, the money's fine. The biggest issue, I think, for me personally, is the 5th year. I would go 4 years. As soon as you hit 5, it just means that if it fails, it's one more year that other teams aren't willing to take on. It's one more year that you got to live with it. Like, I mean, that's the issue. It's the term. The trade was fine.
Yeah.
Because there's no, I mean, the value was there. It's not a big deal, you know, the 30th pick and a second round pick next year, especially when you have so many picks lying around. You should use those.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Lou Lamoriello is like sitting on the couch and like being like, what's going on here? And like lifting up the cushion. There's like a draft pick there. He's like, oh, great, another one.
I
Let's throw it in the
Like a
pile.
stoner from an 80s movie, he wakes up on his couch in a pile of draft picks. Like, what
What did I do
Pizza,
last
beer
night?
cans, draft picks.
But I mean, you have those picks to make they're an asset. They're supposed to make your team better, right? And I don't think that the Leafs really have to, for a 30th pick or a second round pick, those picks are not going to help you this year, next year, the year after that, maybe not even the year after that. Like, I mean, that's
Especially in net. Yeah.
In net. And
Especially in net.
That's what the thing I like about him, people like, what I love, thank you, Twitter. Thank you, Twitter, for existing, because Twitter got peak Twitter. Okay.
It's Alanis Morissette's remix, by the way.
So I think it was hilarious for me reading comments, which were the California argument. Oh, we got another goalie from California. Wow, it sure worked out well the first few times. Okay, chill out,
Listen,
everybody.
I'm right here.
Different people.
I'm right.
No,
It's-
but
it's a narrative. Like, I mean,
it is a narrative.
It's just
Sure.
somebody just sort of it's just kind of throwing facts together that are not at all relevant to the trade.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that was perplexing, I think, to me, was that people forget that this guy was not a backup goaltender like the other guys were.
He started like over 50 games last year, I think?
And the team made the playoffs, and the year before, and the year before that. This is a guy who has a actual successful track record, and they gave up no big prospect, no really big draft pick that, you know, because it's big enough. It's big enough, but you do have to give to get. I agree that the 5th year is a little bit troublesome, but it gives them time, because what you can do this year is take that 31 pick and draft that goalie out of Sweden, because apparently he's going to be around. There's a really good goal, Gustafsson, and his name's Gustafsson. That is his name's Gustafsson. I don't want him. But
In one of the prospect guides things from one of those services, they accidentally put Jonas's picture in there. It was very funny.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
What's his first name? Do you know?
Philip.
Philip Gustafsson. So yeah, and they're talking about this kid like he's going to be great, as they did with Jonas. But I think you know, it gives you 3 years to go. Let's develop one within the system and not have any pressure on them. And then by the time that 5-year contract is up, you got to expect, you got to hope, and if you manage things properly in that 5th year, you got a John Gibson, Frederick Andersen problem, where you got to get rid of Andersen because your next up and coming guy's coming.
Even better, a Bishop Vasilevsky problem.
Even better,
Which
much better.
I think is like one of the, that's how it's done.
That's the best problem to have.
That's how it's done, but it was such blind luck. Blind luck, I thought.
It is.
So how good do you think that Frederik Andersen has to be in order for that contract to be okay?
Above league average.
I put him in the very good category. So to me, good is anywhere between, if there's the top 30 goalies in the league, okay, because they're all the starters, your good is about 15, right? Very good is about 15. Very good is about 10. So I put him at 10, 11. If you can be 10 to 12 best, like if you can be 11th best, 12th best, I don't know how you rate that.
I think that's pretty good value, actually.
That's what you want.
He is going to be the 16th highest paid goaltender in the league. So,
like in a league with 30 teams currently.
And 31 soon.
Yeah. So, I mean, realistically, like he just needs to be average. And average goaltending can take you far as long as the team in front of it is good. Like it's the truth. Like, I mean, it can. I don't know.
Well,
you're good. I believe that average goaltending can take you quite a ways. Mm-hmm. I believe that as long as you have a good system in front of it, which everybody seems to like what the Leafs are doing right now in terms of their on-ice play. Everybody realizes that the talent's not there, so that's why they're not winning. But I mean, they like what they see, right? And then, you just put a few good defensemen in front of a goaltender who's competent, and you put them in a good system, and you can have success. You do need them to win you a few games when you want to win a Stanley Cup, but you can make the playoffs with Frederik Andersen. I mean, he's being a playoff goaltender.
I think he can win a cup with them, too.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Matt Murray stole the Penguins a cup. He was good.
He wasn't Patrick Waugh in 85.
Yeah, he wasn't just stealing the show. He wasn't even the best goalie of the final.
No.
And that's not even an insult. Martin Jones played out of his mind. And Martin Jones almost stole games.
You know what? It's too hard to find elite goaltending.
Did steal a game.
That's the thing. I mean, you take a look at, you think of all the best goaltenders in the league. You know, your Carey Price, your Henrik Lundqvist. You either draft them ridiculously high, which is something that people don't suggest doing, and then you got an amazing goaltender, or you pluck them out of Sweden when nobody knows who they are. Yeah, that kind of thing, right? I mean,
or Denmark now.
Or they develop, they blossom.
Yeah.
Right?
So I mean, I think that teams shouldn't be going around being like, we need to look for an elite goaltender. Nobody should be going out there being like, we really need to pony up and get a Tuukka Rask type of guy.
Well, and this is the thing, being an elite goalie is fleeting.
You should just look into them, or else just go and get a stable, competent goaltender.
Who's money in the bank to be great every year? Carey Price.
Yeah, I mean, they're hard. That's a hard question to answer.
I would say Tuukka Rask, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would say...
He didn't have a lot of help.
A lot of people would say Nashville All-Star Pekka Rinne. But he had a brewery.
Pekka Rinne makes $7 million.
That's why I call him Nashville All-Star Pekka Rinne.
I know.
He was there because the All-Star game was in Nashville.
And he can be a $7 million goalie.
Sure, but he wasn't this year.
He just often isn't. Sometimes he's a $3 million goalie.
But I mean, is anybody, and again, I always go back to Corey Crawford on this. He has won 3 Stanley Cups. You can take nothing away from Corey Crawford.
2. He wasn't there for the first one.
Right,
that
it was
Antti
Niemi. Even better example. Great team, okay goaltender. Corey Crawford is a definite step up several times from Antti Niemi, and that's not a swipe at either of them. Corey Crawford's a pretty damn good goalie.
Yeah, it was pretty good at that time.
Is Corey Crawford, more often than not, is he going to steal you games?
No.
He can,
but he doesn't have to.
You can.
Yeah.
You're not expecting him to.
And Frederik Andersen has that same ability. He can steal a game. He can shut it down. He can pull a shutout out of his hat. He can do all that stuff, right? It's just, I think what people don't like is the contract. I think that people are okay with the goaltender. They're okay with the price of acquiring him. I think it's the contract itself. And I like them. I'm okay with the money. It's just the term that makes you uneasy.
Yeah.
Because in an ideal world, if I was able to, I would sign a goaltender and basically say, sign them to short-term contracts over and over and over again and just pay them what they're worth.
Yep.
Don't look for a bargain. Don't be like, oh, maybe we can pay this guy $3 million on a 6-year contract. And then in years 4, 5, 6, he's a deal.
Right.
No, just pay them what they're worth.
How often does that happen?
Yeah.
That's how you would like to play any player in any pro sport. That's not how it works.
No. I think you have more room with like forwards and defensemen to like look for a bargain or like sign a player long term, because you can like sort of like we like the Morgan Riley deal. And we think it's going to be good value down the road, right? But the thing is that we can track. I think we can sort of project Morgan Riley a little bit easier than you can a goaltender. That's the point. So with the goaltenders in particular, I love short-term deals. Pay them what they're what they're worth, but you can't always do that.
One final thing before we have to go to break here on Sportsnet 590 The Fan is that I think with Frederik Andersen, it was going to be one of two things. You were going to be uncomfortable with one of two of the term or the amount of money you pay him. So what do you want to be more comfortable with? And I will take term over the amount of money you're paying him, only because it gives you more flexibility in the years that you do have him.
And like Justin said, 16th highest paid goalie in the league. And that number is only going to drop, by the way.
Exactly.
It's only going to drop because guys are going to pass him.
When we come back on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, we're going through the top 12 picks in the draft this year with Justin Fisher, who really tracks this stuff. And I think what's going to be interesting, and this is like I think our third year in a row of doing this, by the way.
Yeah.
So we're going to have some fun with that. We're going to go right up into the Ottawa pick. Oh, Ottawa.
The Leafs are going to get somehow.
Well, of course, because we're Toronto. That is when we come back on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. All right, so first pick of the NHL draft this year goes to the Toronto Maple Leafs, Justin Fisher, at the Justin Fisher on Twitter. Who did the Toronto Maple Leafs pick?
Austin Matthews.
What?
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah.
All right. And
But how do you say that in Finnish?
Austin Matthews.
Oh, okay.
What do you say to the few out there who still think Patrick Laine might be a better fit?
Austin Matthews.
Cool. Okay.
Patrick Laine might not even go second, apparently.
Yeah.
According to all the Twitter rumblings last night. It could be Jesse Puljujärvi? Puljujärvi.
It's not even Jesse, is it?
It's Yossi or something.
It's something weird.
It's a soft J.
It's Jesse
Yossi.
now.
Yossi.
It's Jesse now.
Sorry.
By the way, you should change your name to Yossi.
It's already Yossi. You've been pronouncing wrong
Yossi
this entire
Break
time.
Producer Yarvi.
Okay, so who is going second then, guys?
Well, it's interesting because the rumor is Columbus, who picks third, might just trade their pick altogether. So there are going to be shenanigans going on in the next 48 hours. I am so excited.
Let's say there's no trades, which will not happen. You got Winnipeg at 2. Who's Winnipeg most likely to pick?
You see what that was Adam was setting up, and I completely trampled it.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
No,
I just want to say Winnipeg.
It's Patrick Laine.
Okay.
They're going to take Patrick
Number
Laine.
3, if Columbus deals the pick or doesn't, who's number 3?
Well, I would imagine if they do deal the pick, the team getting the pick wants Puljujärvi.
It should be Puljujärvi. It should be, because, I mean, there is a very... You're going to get this, everybody's saying this right now, but you're going to get this every single year where leading up to the draft, there's going to be a little bit of like, new controversy coming out. You know, there's going to be just a little bit of it. But,
Matt Duchene first overall.
You know.
Yes.
But stranger things have happened. I mean, a lot of people didn't see Barkov being the third pick. On the Panthers. Second pick. Sorry, you're right. And I remember Don Cherry was really upset about that.
He was.
Why? Because they didn't pick a good Canadian kid?
Yeah.
I think good old Pierre.
It was one of my favorite quotes from Don where he said, you could have picked, I think it was Drouin. That's who he thought should have gone. And instead they go and pick a guy who was playing in Ice Follies over in Finland. One of my favorite quotes.
Whoa.
Ice Follies was just amazing.
Meanwhile, he's just fantastic.
Yeah, he's very good.
I actually asked John Shannon on Breakfast Television this morning when he was on. I said, because we went through the top 3 draft choices.
You see Adams on television,
and it was funny to get Dina to try to pronounce Puljujärvi and Laine and that sort of thing, and she nailed it. It was great. But I said no Canadians in the top 3, John. How mad will Don Cherry be? And he said, well, he won't be mad at number 4, Matthew Tkachuk.
Matt Tkachuk is an American.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
he didn't say that. What did he say?
Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Pierre-Luc Dubois. That's what it was.
See, Quebecois, yes, he will be.
So at number 4, Edmonton. We're hearing a lot of rumblings about Edmonton trading this pick, but whether Edmonton trades the pick or not, do they go with Tkachuk or do they go with Dubois? Because they're saying Dubois is the most complete player in the draft, and then he's got ridiculous speed.
I personally like Tkachuk.
Okay, why
I
is
would
that?
actually take Tkachuk over Dubois. I think that the biggest, I feel like the biggest knock on Tkachuk lately has been who his line mates are, playing with Mitch Marner and Christian Dvorak in London on one of the highest scoring, high-powered lines that the CHL's seen in a long time, you know? But that said, it takes talent to play with good players. Like,
Justin, no.
Yeah, no, it does. It really does. I promise you. It takes a lot of talent to play with good players. And to say that Mitch Marner was the one who stirred the drink on that line. Absolutely.
Sure.
Christian Dvorak is an older guy, was good in his, regular age years, but then he reaches his last year of eligibility in the OHL, and that's when those players are supposed to,
destroy
light it up.
worlds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's when they're supposed to do it. And Tkachuk, being the youngest one on the line, yeah, it's not a surprise that he might look like third fiddle, right? But it takes a lot of skill to keep up with those guys, and it takes a lot of talent to still put up as many points as he did. And I think that also you don't want to get into the whole conversation about team need, but there's a good fit there because Dubois plays both wing and center. In fact, I think he's actually just very recently become a center. But I think that Tkachuk actually really complements who they have already. Because McDavid is not a guy who's going to crash and bang. You'll see some of that from Draisaitl.
Big body.
But I think that that's the type of winger that you can add to that group of centers.
Right.
And they'll find success.
And he'd be used to playing with a high-skilled young guy like a Connor McDavid who was on his team a year ago.
What I think you want is a player.
No, sorry, that's Yuri. Yes.
I think you want a player who only plays with bums. I think that's what you want. I think we should definitely penalize this young man.
We want a guy that looks really great and makes his line mates worse.
Dubois
for sure. For sure.
Dubois also was kind of a very steady riser all the way to the top all year. And I kind of this is my own personal gut feeling, but I kind of prefer, or I give a little bit of credit to the people who were there in that conversation all year. Like, I mean, I just prefer.
Steve is agreeing with you with so many fingers. He's pointing in your direction.
And that's why I also tend to rank like guys that drop really far over the year. I tend to rank them a little bit higher than when you see them. People go, oh no, you just saw it this year. They suck. Well, they weren't highly rated coming into the draft year for a reason. Like, I mean, like they shouldn't drop. And that's where you try to look for, gems in the later picks and stuff like that. But
why do you feel like that? You said Dubois steadily rose, both of you, and you both agree on that point that you want to have the guy that's been there since the beginning. Why would you feel like that would? Like the recent history maybe isn't the exact indicator of success or potential success. What is it that gives you pause and makes you think, well, I'm going to go with the guy that was always there?
If I could jump in,
sure,
the example I always go back to, and it's not a knock on the other guy, Nathan MacKinnon versus Seth Jones in 2013. There was all this talk of Seth potentially going first overall, and people trying to tear Nathan MacKinnon down. Nathan MacKinnon at the time had been Nathan MacKinnon since he was 16 years old. He had this hype to go first overall for it was like 3 years. Seth Jones had just become Seth Jones. You know what I mean? He had just become this force. Now, he earned it, and he ended up going fourth overall, and he's turned a pretty darn good NHL career out of it. He's
absolutely.
Might even get an offer sheet, but he's not Nathan MacKinnon. You know what I mean? And that sort of thing kind of happens every year. Not quite as high in the draft, but
it's funny because we're talking about Dubois and Tkachuk right now, but I mean, we could have had this exact same conversation about Laine and Matthews. For the people who are talking about Laine was not the second guy.
No, he wasn't, was he?
It was Chychrun for a lot of the year. The defenseman.
Jacob Chychrun.
And then
there's a guy who could go way higher than people think, I think.
It could also go lower. He could fall out of the top 10 easily. Right?
Could go fifth.
Whoever grabs him is probably getting a really good player. But that's just it just happens every year. There's risers, and you want to give them credit for like putting in a really good draft year. And it is at this year. Maybe they find themselves in a good situation where they can sort of have a little bit of a coming out party. But I mean, I prefer to give a little bit more credit to the people who are like rated highly pretty consistently, because Tkachuk before London, Tkachuk was playing with the U.S. program, I think with Matthews, and doing a pretty good job there. I'm pretty sure they were line mates.
I'm
they line
not
making World
100%
Juniors?
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I was only paying attention to the noble country.
Yes.
I remember that Kachuk was Kachuk
Finland.
did have some quotes in recent weeks about like how good Matthews is. Like that he was, because they played together before.
So we got so you say 4 Kachuk or Kachuk.
Yeah, that's the way
Kachuk.
I lean.
Okay.
I lean because I think that if you take Dubois, you can't knock that. Like, I mean, he deserves to be in that range. But I think Kachuk, just because I prefer the track record there, and I also think that he's a better fit in Edmonton than Dubois. I mean, it would be ideal if they had a defenseman to pick there, but none of the defensemen I don't think are good enough to go that high in the draft.
Will LOL Benning pick him at number 5 then? Dubois, or will it be someone off the board?
I really think that they should draft a good young player.
Forward. Forward or D for Vancouver?
At that point you take Dubois.
Okay.
I'm still I think that there's 5 forwards that you got to take to start. And then that's when you start seeing a conversation about the defenseman coming in. In fact, I would say that if you're talking about tiers, because we always talk about tiers every single draft year, Matthews is in a tier of his own.
Yeah.
Not that far below him is Laine Puljujarvi. And then you've got, I think, Kachuk and Dubois in another tier. And then it opens up quite a bit.
It's like a wedding cake.
Yeah. So,
The tiers up top are small.
and it's just, I think that's when it opens up after that 5th pick. And then it becomes a lot more hectic. And I think that's where you'd see more movement. Like I could see, isn't Calgary picking 6th?
They are.
I
And
think
that's
so,
who I was
yes.
going to ask you about
Yeah.
next.
Actually, before we get to Calgary, a quick note. The Vancouver Canucks Twitter account just tweeted, Verbata, Weber, and Bartkowski will not be re-signed, according to Jim Benning.
Okay.
Got to make room for that Dubois.
Yeah, but just an odd thing for a team to tweet out, but I like it.
A lot of teams are now announcing too. I've noticed this year that
Someone's not coming back.
yeah, like
Nashville did that.
LA, Nashville, like and LA was like, not only did LA say we're not getting Lucic back, but they then faxed every team in the NHL and said, you can talk to him. Which I thought was interesting.
I thought it was pretty interesting that this morning Benning was talking about how they would absolutely be interested in Lucic. And it was kind of like, well, it seems like a very early date to start talking about
He
that.
is
and say it
technically
publicly.
King's property,
He is.
and like, isn't that sort of
But
kind of tampering?
because Lombardi said you're free to talk to him, I think that he's okay to say that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, he sent a fax to 29 other teams saying Milan Lucic is pick up the phone and call him. We
I
don't
guess
care.
if he gives the blessing, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we've
Well,
got
I guess with tampering, don't you have to accuse the other team of tampering?
yes.
So then LA can't do that.
Yes.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calgary at number 6. What do we got?
this is where it's going to get really, really interesting, because then there's a whole like second group of sort of players. I personally like Alex Nylander there quite a bit. I like Clayton Keller, which is a little bit higher than some of the other rankings have him, but Clayton Keller has very, very high level offensive skills. And you don't hear about him a lot because he's, in that U.S. under-18 program.
Doesn't get a lot of coverage.
It just doesn't get as much coverage, right? It can from year to year, depending on the player. But I mean, I really like one of those two. I think that those guys are the next sort of two that.
So do you think if Alex Nylander goes 6, then Clayton Keller goes 7 to Arizona, or vice versa?
Yeah, although I've read too that Arizona might like a defenseman, and then that's when you start talking about the defenseman, Sergachev,
Chikrin?
Levy,
No?
Chikrin, sort of those 3 there that are sort of the 3 defensemen that nobody really knows who's the best one out of that group.
In the top 10,
Yeah.
when you guys, when you look at drafting, because in the NFL, they really look at, beyond like the top 3-4 picks, they really look at team need. In the NHL, it seems to be just draft the best damn player available, right?
Which I think you should do anyway.
I think you should too. I'm a big believer in that, because how can you go wrong? It's always about getting the most skilled guy, because you can trade skill, right? You can find skill is an asset, right?
The thing about the Oilers that drives me nuts is they're loading up in these young, extremely talented forwards, and it sounds like they're about to get another one. The answer seems pretty simple. Now that you have these incredible players, trade one of them for an incredible defenseman.
Or trade that pick down and get an incredible
Do
defenseman that way.
anything but what you're doing. Like, do anything but just the status quo.
Yeah.
Like, it's It's that down goes Brown thing. It's like, okay, we should make a trade. Okay, but not that guy. Not that guy. Oh, okay, he could still turn out. Hey, why are we still bad? We should make a trade. Oh, not that guy. Like,
It's true.
Every single year.
Every
single year.
Buffalo at 8.
Who they're going to take?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Stamkos.
Well, I mean, I'm just going through like who I particularly have.
That's why we
as,
had you
like,
on.
my best.
We
guy.
want your
I
opinion.
have Sergachev as my 8th guy.
Okay.
After Nylander and Keller, and then I have a run of Sergachev, Ulevy, and Michael McLeod.
So we got Ulevy at 9
Yeah,
with Montreal.
Yeah.
And then at number 10, Colorado,
McLeod.
McLeod. Now, hang on to the rest of that because we got to go on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. We'll have the New Jersey prediction and the Ottawa prediction because we wanted to make sure we hit all the Canadian teams. Thank you so much for listening. You can download the Steve Dangle podcast at sportsnet.ca or any place podcasts are found, including Google Play and iTunes and Podstitcher and SoundCloud. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
Follow the show and actually follow at the Justin Fisher on Twitter. The
only one.
Yeah. And we will see you next week after the draft shenanigans are over, except I won't be here because I'm going to Europe.
Aw.
I'm going to Europe. Austin Matthews is coming back. I am going. There's an obvious connection there.
Yes.
New Jersey at 11.
I would go Tyson Yost. I think that Tyson Yost is the next guy on my list. He's kind of interesting because he's in the BCHL with the Penticton Vs, and
that's Junior A.
That's Junior A. So those are the guys who are staying a level below like the WHL, in his case the WHL, because they're going to go to college next year.
Oh,
so the thing about college is that, well, the thing about the junior leagues in Canada is that they get like a daily allowance or like a stipend or something like that. So like a little pocket change. They're not paid athletes, but they get a little coin. The NCAA says you absolutely cannot give money to anybody or else they're a pro athlete. And the fun thing about that is that as soon as you receive money from a different league, you are then a pro athlete and you cannot join the NCAA.
It's so unfair.
So a lot of players will
dumb.
actually stay down a level in their because they're not old enough to go to college. Right, they are old enough to go to the WHL, but they'll stay there so that they can
dislike
keep their
the
eligibility.
NCAA with a fiery passion. Their product is incredible, but they're idiots.
But to give you an idea of how
The
valuable,
hockey product?
Well, the hockey products and the football.
Yeah.
Football,
Okay,
basketball.
yeah.
To give you an idea of how valuable what Justin's talking about is, when I was doing Junior Hockey Magazine years ago, we had this goalie on. He was a Junior A goalie. Very good in his league. And he got a full ride to Maine. Full ride. Don't remember his name. I know that I never heard of him again in the ECHL. I never heard of him again in the AHL. I don't know if he went to Europe. I don't think he went to Europe. He may have never played another hockey game again. You know what I know he got, though? A full ride to Maine.
Got a scholarship.
Got a scholarship.
Which is, okay, now if you stay in a junior league, does that not hinder your development at all?
Yeah, and some people believe it does, and some people believe that if you're in the junior leagues, you might not be getting enough exposure, so that you wouldn't necessarily, not on as many scouts would see you. You wouldn't necessarily rank as highly on their radar as others. But those are the type of guys that you pick, and then they go to college and they have this like coming out party first year of university or college, and people are like, "Wow, hey, that's pretty good." Kyle Connor played in I think it was the USHL last year. He went to school, had an amazing year, and now he's one of the Winnipeg's top prospects. Same sort of thing. USHL, BCHL, those types of leagues. Sometimes you can get really good value because they're not as highly rated because they're not seen as often.
Interesting.
On that note, there are over a dozen Junior A leagues in Canada. Most of the players that seem to get drafted, especially like higher up, come from the BCHL.
Yeah.
Why? I've never been able to figure that out. Is it just a better league? Is that it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Penticton is like a pretty like legendary junior club.
They often win or in contention for, oh my God, I forget the RBC Cup. Is that what it is?
I don't know.
It's
man.
like the
We went through
Memorial
this when
Cup
I was
for
on the
Junior
phone
A.
last time. We couldn't figure out what the WHL trophy was called. Like,
I still, by the way, did we ever learn?
No.
I don't know.
isn't it the J. Jonah Jameson?
Who cares? It's not the J. Ross Robinson. Robertson.
J. Jonah Jameson is a Spider-Man character.
Oh, there
He's
you
the
go.
newspaper guy.
Such a friggin' nerd.
So, okay, then at number 12, we've got the Ottawa Senators. Pierre Dorian's first pick, assuming he doesn't move up.
What's his name?
Pierre Dorian.
Oh yeah. Well, in that case, who cares? 'Cause
Right.
It's Ottawa. I won't even give you a name. No, I'll give you a name. I have Chikrin there at 12.
Okay.
Which
Wow.
would be a good haul. And the thing is that I have Chikrin there. I've seen a lot of other mock drafts where Keller is still there, and like that could be really good for Ottawa. Like they could get that kind of spot just outside the top 10 is often where a lot of teams I feel like you can get a little bit lucky, because for some reason some guy that's like a top 10 talent drops just because teams have preferences and stuff like that. Cam Fowler was a good example of that, where you thought he was going to go
Yeah.
high and then he slips to 11 for Anaheim.
12. He was supposed to go like third.
Yeah, he was supposed to be pretty high. And I mean, I feel that sometimes those teams just on the outside of the top 10 find themselves getting a top 10 talent, which I'm sure people will argue that logic doesn't add up. But that's not how numbers work, Justin. But
Well, it makes sense to me because I don't get numbers. So I know what you're saying, though, because there are guys there are teams that are A, going to take risks, and B, are just going to draft differently because they kind of feel like it,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's just the way it goes. So, yeah, okay, very, very interesting.
yeah.
Which brings me to my favorite thing of every NHL draft. Big dude who goes high because he's big.
Yeah.
So what is the deal?
Who's the big dude who's going to go high because he's big then?
Every year it happens. There was Nick Ritchie, who it actually looks like he's going to be pretty decent, right? Pretty decent.
I mean, not as good as William Nylander, but
No,
I mean,
Remember
but
how
he's-
upset people were that we didn't get Nick Ritchie and
Who's
got William
people?
Nylander?
Oh no!
Just say
it was-
Don Cherry.
No, it was
Okay, it was Don Cherry.
No, it was split down the middle. Like people were like, half the people were just like, I can't believe that the Leafs actually went for the skill guy. That's amazing. And the other half were like, I can't believe the Leafs didn't go for the big Canadian guy with heart. That's terrible.
I was in Philly.
Nick Ritchie's a good prospect.
But he's not
to be
William
clear.
Nylander.
I was sitting there. They had a tap in all day because you know who was still on the board? Nylander and Ehlers. They
Yeah.
had their pick, and I'm sitting there like, oh, you just tap it in. Just tap it in. Don't do it. Don't do it. Nylander. Hey, there you go. But and then there was Lawson Krause, who
Yeah.
looks like he could be something too.
Yeah. The fun thing about the Nylander and Ehlers thing is that Nylander's better. And I would
he plays for Toronto.
I would apologize to the Winnipeg Jets fans, but I don't care.
Oh, they don't. Oh, they don't.
Ehlers
matter.
played
I
last
know.
year, Justin.
Yeah, he did. He did.
He played.
He did.
Noted Calder
So did
candidate
Nylander.
Nikolai Ehlers.
So did Nylander.
Exactly. Well, I
He
wonder,
was robbed of the Calder.
did he even qualify? I don't think he played 25 games. Did he?
I don't think that's
Oh,
necessarily
close.
the qualification. He
I thought
played
it was-
like half the games McDavid did, and McDavid didn't win. So
I don't
Yeah.
think Nylander's eligible for it next year.
I think
Yes,
he
he
might
is.
be.
Is he?
Yeah, 'cause he
I
didn't
think
play-
it's
that's what I mean.
24.
Oh, it's
24
24?
less.
Okay.
Because
That's what I was talking about. That's what I mean. Not Ehlers, but
Oh.
Will Nylander. Did he play 25 games?
I think he played 20, 21, something
Played
like
22.
that. 22.
Woo, so he's he can do it this year.
No,
it'll
it's
be
like-
it'll be
No,
Nylander,
no,
Marner, and
no, he can't.
Matthews
I was
for the rookie of the year.
Matthews is going to win it. Like he's going to win
It's
it.
going to be a great race between Nylander, Matthews, and Marner.
It's gonna
Especially
be
when
a
they're all
great-
playing on the same
It's
line.
going to be a great race between Nylander, Matthews, and Marner, and some 25-year-old from Russia. It's
Zaitsev. Perfect. Boom. We got him.
going to be really good. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That's funny.
Yes, that's so ridiculous.
It's
But,
not ridiculous if it's your first year in the league.
No.
Dwayne Rollison should have won it, but he was too old because there is a 29-year-old cutoff, I think. I think if you're 29, you're cut
Calder
off.
Trophy should be for like a young kid. It should
Excuse
be.
me. Excuse me, you ageist pigs.
Well, forget
Why don't
his
we-
age.
do we
He played
disagree-
in the
do we disagree on
KHL.
this?
I think okay, at 28, 29, I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But anything 25 and under, to me, is young.
I don't know.
I think you have to. Okay, let's talk about. Are we going to have this conversation? Let's talk about when you're.
I was trying to
eligible.
learn about Logan Brown.
when you're eligible for the rookie of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You're 18 years old,
Right.
right? Do you really think that there should be a gap of like 7-8 years
Where you become a man.
Where I mean, no, I think it should. My personal opinion is 23 and under.
Okay.
That's my personal.
What's yours,
opinion.
Steve?
A 5-year window.
I like that.
23 and
I like
under?
that.
Yeah,
I like it. You give me the Robert De Niro. I like it.
but rookie year.
Okay,
23
yeah,
and
rookie
under.
year, of
Not
course.
every single player 23 and under is eligible.
No.
For like
And none of this-
the young star of the league award. No, thank you.
None of this garbage like what happened with Andrew Raycroft when he won the Calder. That was his 4th NHL season. He just didn't play a
You
lot of
got
games.
that mixed up. He won the Calder and then he was garbage. That's how.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
thank you,
Yeah,
Justin.
yeah,
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
That's so good that you did that. No, you're right.
That's why I'm here.
So
You are right and not wrong and bad.
So
Steve's question was also never answered.
what's the question?
Logan Brown?
Yeah, tell
yeah,
me
let's talk about Logan
about
Brown.
fucking Logan Brown.
I haven't forgot.
We're on the online portion, by the way. Fuckface.
Logan Brown is, definitely one of those guys that sort of you saw sort of getting a little bit more attention near the end of the year. He happens to be enormous. I think he's 6'6". Right
Wow.
now. 6'5", 6'6".
That's big.
And somebody was like, "Oh, he could still be growing," which was just like, "No, thank you. That's okay where he is right now."
We're just going to have this friggin' giraffe skating around.
And with Brown though, he had 74 points in 59 games. Like that's not a joke.
With who?
With Windsor.
Yeah, it's not a joke.
No.
That's not a joke. Like, I mean, he's a good player, but I think that, and he skates pretty well for a big guy. So I don't
And
know.
that wasn't a great team, was it?
I don't
not
remember.
a great team.
Windsor? No.
No, not what they've once been in the past. Like, I mean, they used to be
The
a
power-
They're not
Powerhouse.
the
They
Jason
used to-
Spezza Windsor Spitfires.
How about the Taylor
Taylor
Hall Windsor
Hall,
Spitfires?
Yeah. That I mean, they're not the same type of team, but I mean, really good. Actually, though, when we were talking about it, I have Logan Brown 13th on my list. So
Oh.
he was the guy
Perfect.
that was next. There's
didn't
another
even play
big
in
guy,
that.
and he's the guy that I didn't mind leaving like up in the top half of the first round. But there's another Logan Stanley, who also plays for Windsor, I think. Mm-hmm. We can check that.
When did
out. I'm
Toronto?
pretty sure.
When did Ontario become the WHL? Like, is Logan our like Michaela and Kale?
Might be. Might be.
Actually,
Logan's-
no. Michaela's huge. in
Logan
Ontario.
Stanley is also on the Windsor Spitfires, and he's a defenseman, and he's like already 6'6", like a huge
Jesus.
dude, right?
That's
And
enormous.
he's been getting first round attention and talk too. But let's also look at his stat line here: 17 points in 64 games. Which I mean,
Ooh.
yeah, he's a defenseman, but I mean, like,
It's the OHL.
he's the type of guy where people are like, "Oh no, we like him because he's big."
That
I
is
feel
a
with
great,
Logan Brown, it's like it's nice that he's also big. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
and you want that. You
Yeah,
want that.
yeah,
If you're
yeah.
going to go with a guy, you want, and he happens to be big.
That's a great
I love
second-
size. I love size and prospects, but like they've got to be able to play.
Yeah, like that's a good second or third flyer, I think.
Logan Stanley, the big guy.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, think about all the others. 6'5", 6'6" plus defensemen that have gone in recent years. They were supposed to be the next Chara.
Jared Cowan.
Jamie Alexiak.
I remember being so pissed the Leafs didn't get him.
Wasn't Taylor Doherty like? Is it Taylor Doherty?
Taylor Doherty was 6'8", and
Yeah.
he was drafted.
11th.
No, he was a second round pick the year that the Leafs had 2 second round picks that they used on Kenny Ryan and Jesse Blacker. Those did not work out. I think Doherty was the pick before Blacker, and I remember being happy with Blacker, but just going, they could have had 6'8" Taylor Doherty, who, by the way, was with the Marlies this past year at the end of the season on a tryout deal.
Yeah.
So, like, it doesn't always work out.
It was Alexiak was 14th overall.
to the Dallas Stars.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
there's a lot. There's always a team that like is like, hey, here's a giant defenseman. Let's that sounds cool. And then like,
Yeah.
why?
That's why the Bruins have ruined the NHL. Like, for years, everyone wanted to draft the next Milan Lucic.
Yeah.
They wanted to draft the next Chara. They think they have the next Patrice Bergeron. They don't.
They also have Brandon Carlo, who's a big defenseman. They thought that they could replace, I guess, some size in the back end.
Oh.
But he was not picked very, very high. He was like a second round pick, I think.
Do you think this might happen?
Yes.
The league is
Yes.
The league is trending smaller. Right?
Yeah, it is.
It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And a lot of these big guys are just kind of big. And that's how they made it. And then it kind of ends there. But at some point, there's going to be a few guys who come into the league 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". who have size and know how to use it, and they're just going to start destroying worlds. And then everything's going to start trending upward again because everyone's going to want those guys.
Well, that's what made like Getzlaff and Thornton like so valuable. Like, and they're both still good players, but in their prime. Like, that's what made them so special, was that they were huge and also super skilled.
Yeah,
And mean.
And yeah,
Like, there are a lot of
And Corey Perry,
6'5" pushovers, you know?
yeah. Like, I mean, I mean, I don't know. I guess they're just making them smaller these days. Like, I mean,
Everyone thinks they have the next Johnny Gaudreau.
yeah.
Okay, so we're going to skip ahead to the first pick of the second round. We had the last pick of the first round. It is now Freddie Andersen.
Yeah, a bunch of shit that doesn't matter.
Blah, blah, blah. Your team, who cares? And Leafs, 31.
There's so many players in that range. I mean, you never know who's
So
going to be there.
name 5.
to quote Justin Bourne, what's the damn difference?
Okay, well, I'm going to give you a few names at different positions that I like in that range. Will Bitton and Tyler Benson are 2 forwards that I really like in that range. Will Bitton was a very highly touted prospect that was in the unfortunate position of playing for Flint this year in the OHL. Right. So from what I read, he was like a good soldier through it all. Like, he was just like, you know, like making the best of the situation. But like, that's ugly. And I
That
mean,
sucks.
You got to think that if he was in a better position and like scouts wanted to go to that rink, and like, you know what I mean? Like
how do you even judge a prospect who played for that team?
it's tough.
Pretty hard.
Like,
Like,
there
it's
are
just
probably...
there's so much negative energy around it. Right. And maybe that's a knock on the prospect. Maybe there's so much negative energy around that prospect. Maybe it's, you know, it.
Well, like, I can't help but
damaged
feel like
him,
there were
but-
guys there who could have maybe gone in the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah.
But then at that point, you just start getting lost and you completely fall out
Yeah.
altogether.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like him, like a center winger, skilled forward. I like that a lot. Tyler Benson was the first overall pick in the WHL draft for Vancouver like a year or two back.
Wow.
And he had injury problems. He was like a point per game guy, but he had injury problems. And that's the type of thing where I feel like for the Leafs in particular, they really need to focus on they've got a ton of quantity, and they managed to get all that quantity through past drafts when they're trading down a couple times and getting those extra picks and everything like that. But like, they need to focus on quality. Like, I mean, they've got some like stud players in their prospect pool, but like, because they have so much quantity, they can be a little bit more selective. They don't need to be trading down a couple times to get more picks.
They can take risks with a potential diamond in the rough.
Right. And I mean, with you know, maybe look for guys who should be rated higher but had injury problems, or should be rated higher but were on god awful organizations.
Draft all of
In a city, by the way, which had nothing but problems this year.
Yes.
Tragic problems.
So that's kind of where I think that they could go with that. And on that point too, Cale Clegg,
I'm listening.
WHL defender who was thought to be like
Of
a top
course.
10 pick, played for Brandon.
The Wheat Kings.
And everybody thought that he was going to be one of those guys up there with Chychrun before Ulevi took off and before Sergachev took off. They thought that he was going to be one of the top defensemen
What
in
happened?
the draft. I think there were some injury problems. It was just kind of didn't click for him this year. People started questioning maybe his his sort of like on ice intelligence. But again, like, there's tools there.
They
You know
do
what I
that
mean?
with Jake Gardner too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but
No, that's me.
That's
Me, I go, I love you. Just let me love you, Jake.
That's the kind of like play that I would go. And if you want to get really out there and have some fun, take a goalie.
So let's talk about the goalies that are
Sure.
available.
They
at
do
that.
need to. They do need
So
to
they've got-
draft at least one.
Well, Philip Gustafson, we've mentioned, but we didn't really get into. What do we need to know about him?
Played for Luleå.
In the SHL, Swedish
Yeah.
Hockey League.
Had a good year. He did not do so well on the international stage. Actually, I think Philip Gustafson played for the Luleå J20 team as well. They're under 20 team. So he kind of flipped. I think there was a little bit of back and forth there.
It's a difficult lead to crack as a 17, 18-year-old.
Personally,
especially
I don't
goalie.
feel he's the top goaltender in the draft, though.
So who do you like?
I like Carter Hart better from Everett. I think that he's sort of the top guy. I think him and Gustafson are sort of like the 1-2. You could go for a goaltender there. I brought it up because that is the type of, I think, risk or the type of sort of shoot for the stars kind of thing that the Leafs should be doing with their picks this year. Not worrying about necessarily quantity, but just trying to get the best possible. Really focusing on the highest skill, the highest impact. Do not take one single player that's calling card is their defensive ability. Don't worry about that.
You can find those. You can find those people,
you can get
and
those
that can
guys
be taught.
in free agency. You can get exactly. And if you're playing in a good system, the system plays a lot into players are good defensive players because they were told to stand in the right position. That happens. So I feel like it really is. You're looking for the highest upside. But on goaltenders, if I'm the Leafs, I might take one or two this year, and I would stock up in the later rounds. Personally,
so you would take the goalies in the later rounds.
I would take the goaltenders in the later rounds because
Lundqvist was like a 5th round pick or something.
Wow.
I think because I think a lot of times it's those later round picks. I would wait until the 3rd, maybe the 4th. Right? There's the Leafs have a bunch of double extra picks in the 5th and 6th rounds this year. Is that what it is?
I think
Don't they have 2/3?
they have 11 picks left, and only one of them is in the first.
Yeah, so there's a lot of doubling up on
They
it.
still have 2 seconds, even though they traded one. Or no, that's next year. I think they have 2 this year,
They
too.
have 2 seconds.
I was a big fan of the Leafs going after a goaltender with the 30th or 31st pick when they had the 2 of them.
And now it's a little
It's a little bit different. Now, because you can be a little bit more bold and daring when you have 2 picks back to back. The Bruins were very bold and daring with their 3 back-to-back picks.
Sure were.
In that they decided to go after players who were thought to not belong in the first round. But good for them, I guess.
and then
move.
leak the information that they didn't pass the fitness test.
Oh, yeah, that was fun, too.
That was
fun.
Oh
my God.
Don Sweeney
Boston.
The Bruins
does not get enough credit for being Jim Benning Part 2, I think.
They're fascinating because
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, the Bruins are actually pretty smart. Oh, God, what are you doing? And then
Yep.
next week, I don't know.
I would wait for Sawchenko in the later rounds. He's a goaltender for in the WHL. Decent numbers. Wool, I think he played for the in the U.S. program, and he's going to go off to the NCAA next year. There's some other goaltenders in the later rounds where I would rather just take those and hope they turn out to be something, as opposed to going for the best available goaltender you can find, because this is also not a good year for goaltenders.
Right.
It's not there's no standout guy. There's no Vasilevsky. There's no Rask. There's no.
It's not a slam as close to a slam dunk with a goaltender as you can get.
I would much rather go gambling on one in the later rounds this year than I would go for a top one, just because I felt differently before Andersen, because the Leafs had more picks higher up.
Goalies are also weird. They'll be mediocre for the longest time, and then someone goes, no, hold your glove here, and they go, oh, and all of a sudden they're a Vezina candidate. Goalies are just bizarre.
Or they're Jim the Net Detective Carey winning the Vezina and then falling off a cliff over the next 3 years and working an office job.
Just the strangest thing. Jim, he's on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I looked him up. I looked up his firm.
I was like, holy shit, this guy has a Vezina trophy.
I have been
He's
on his company's
LinkedIn.
website before.
Shit, that's amazing.
Yeah. And it's like he's a former NHL goaltender who takes his blah, 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 blah. He brings that to the insurance.
He definitely has a framed jersey above his desk.
Oh, yeah.
Signed it.
Wouldn't you?
It's his own signature. Oh, fuck yeah, I would. I knew a guy who worked for Nike who played one exhibition game. And you better believe he's got that jersey that he wore framed above his desk. That would be my crown achievement. Oh yeah, did you play in a fucking NHL exhibition game? No, you didn't. That's as close as you can get without actually getting there.
I would start a podcast called I Played One Exhibition NHL Game.
That reminds me of the time I hit that home run to bring the World Series back to Toronto.
1993 to bring the World Series back to Toronto.
Slightly
Joe
different.
Carter.
Different scale.
By the way, that is not all. I've interviewed Joe recently, and that's not all he talks about.
Yeah, sometimes he's selling arthritis medication.
That's right. He also
made
does
me
that.
feel better. Makes me feel like I did when I hit that home run to bring the world.
Back in 1993, off of what is it, Crazy Matt Williams or whatever his name?
Joint pain is no joke, Steve.
You don't know, man. You don't know.
People might be mad online.
All right, we got a couple things, and I kind of want everybody's opinion on this. Okay.
No.
because a couple of strange things have happened this year that we haven't seen a lot before. Sometimes you'll see a pending free agent, the rights get flipped for a late round pick, and nothing really happens. We saw it with, I believe, Goligoski, who did sign with Arizona.
Yeah.
Which was
Jimmy-
quite the contract, actually, for a guy, I thought. I mean, he's a great great defenseman, but he's in his 30s
Is he?
already.
Goligoski
Is he-
got bank.
He did get bank. I was surprised at the amount of money and the amount of years.
But I wonder if again, our
can we
minds
look
are
that
just
up
catching
exactly,
up
Jesse?
to inflation.
Goligoski, years and contract term, because I can't remember specifically, but isn't it the $4.5-5 million range or something?
No,
or more?
it's over 5. It's over 5, I believe.
How many years?
Yandel's
5,
getting
6?
over 6.3, I believe.
So Yandel did re-sign in Florida. Or
Yeah,
did sign in
did
Florida.
sign in Florida, yeah.
So what was that deal? Can you tell? So he gets
I think it was 7 years, no movement for the first 6. He's 30 now, by the way.
Because so many people are going
What?
to want him in that last year there.
Why do you sign a guy to a contract like that?
I think because the comparables make that kind of money. Like that's the thing.
Do the Florida Panthers need Keith Yandel?
Him,
They're gonna lose Brian Campbell.
they're going to lose Brian
So-
Campbell, which I think was a foregone conclusion anyway. A lot of fans I saw were like, "Well, why wouldn't you offer him like $3 or $4 million to come back for a couple of years?" Supposedly, he wants to go back to Chicago. How, Sway? How is he going to do like a Paul Correa move and take friggin'
I have no idea.
$1 million?
I have no idea. And
Here he is on Sportsnet.
and I guess Yandel's a great defenseman, but is he that much money good?
him and Ekblad are going to fuck shit up. They're going to be. That's going to be a pair of bad men on your power play.
Yeah.
There was a conversation. Sorry.
Yandel is 6.35
Whoa,
for
for-
7 years.
Oh,
And Goligoski's average cap is 5.47.
wow!
You know
Or
what?
5
All these years
Where'd you
later,
get those
though,
numbers from?
General Fanager.
Hey, that's
Also
cool.
recently on the show.
all these years later, though, still less than enough.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. Comparables, man.
There was a conversation on Twitter earlier today that I read a little bit, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who was having the conversation or who said it.
You were not memorable.
It was a good point in that you don't see offensive defensemen like Yandel fall off as hard in their later years. It's the physical guys that you see break down, right? And I mean, they can, and even players like that have offense but are also physical, you see them break down as well. But you've seen a lot of
Sergei Gonchar.
Dan Boyle, like there's been
Yeah.
a lot of examples of like offensive defensemen that have played pretty well through their 30s. Is Yandel going to be that guy? I mean, that's a question in of itself. And is that guy worth over $6 million? I would say not. I would think that if you're getting all that term, then you could get the dollar amount lower. That would be my guess, but
And he gets to sign in a state where you get to keep most of the money that comes to you, and you get to live in Florida.
yeah.
Come on.
You get to live next door to Dave Boland.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool.
Yeah, I
Boy,
mean,
that's rough.
And
What?
this will take him to retirement as well. 'Cause
Yeah.
7 years and he's already 29, right?
Yeah.
geez, like that's crazy. That's so okay. And I think Goligoski and OEL will do some good things in Arizona.
Yeah, like these are guys who definitely could be like a premium Robin to Batman.
Yeah, premium Robin.
Premium
There's Bum
Robin, I think.
and there's okay Robin, and then there's premium Robin.
Premium Robin should take over for elite third liner.
Okay.
But gosh darn it, that's a lot of money. I don't think, like, am I just that cheap? Like, every single
I think
player who
you're
signs
cheap.
a contract,
Yeah, you've
I'm
been
like,
burned.
that's a lot of money.
Yes. I was thinking that you need to like get an extra pair of socks because you got cold feet on every single
Yeah.
I know.
deal that comes through. Like, I mean, the Andersen. Oh, I don't know about that. Too much money. Stamkos. Oh no, too much money. Oh dear Lord.
So let me ask you this. I meant to say this earlier. Who in the NHL
Yes.
is worth $12 million?
That's a tough one.
Is the
$12
list
million
even one person long?
$12 million is silly. That's the thing. The thing about $12 million is that if you need one person to make $12 million, and then other players will start making that. But because of the market right now, I wouldn't pay anybody $12 million because you'd be giving money away. Like,
Yeah.
there's
have to.
there's no reason to pay somebody $12 million because the market's not pushing that up that high on anybody. Do you
11.
really think that 11?
Well, Kane and Taze are making that.
They make
Yeah.
10.5. So
Yeah, I mean,
How about 10.5?
Crosby for sure.
What? It's
Ovechkin
1.5 million.
Ovechkin for sure. I'd probably go that high with Sagan.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's an
Sagan's
unpopular thing.
amazing.
Yeah.
He is amazing, and his contract is
He's
top 5 in
amazing.
the league.
Yeah.
Amazing. How much better would Boston be if they had just been patient?
Phil Kessel.
Phil Kessel.
Filbert.
Sagan liked my tweet yesterday. I tweeted J.R. Smith has a Tyler Sagan dislike, or a Tyler Sagan level dislike for shirts after winning a championship.
Why are you calling him Sagan? Just call him Tyler. You guys are like best friends.
T-Dog.
My boy T.
Ty. I went. So I don't know if I've told you this story. I might have told this story on like the show.
Real
before.
sports story?
No, not the real sports story.
Oh,
What real sports
The
story?
Sagan story?
weren't you there when he said thank you, Kessel?
No.
Did I ever tell that story on this podcast? I think I
No.
I think you have, yeah.
did. Yeah. Okay. What were you about to say? I cut you off.
No, I was in Yorkdale Mall in Toronto, and I went into Lululemon. And
As one does.
As one does. And I honestly, I think I was just following my girlfriend in there. And a woman comes up to me who's working there, and she's like, "You should buy these boxers." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "Tyler Sagan comes in here every time he's in Toronto and buys like 10 of them." And I'm like, "Cool. That's nice. Good story. Thank you."
When I look at Justin, I'm like, body issue.
It's true. It's true.
Hey, anybody in this room.
But more like Vincent Wilfork body issue. Like
well,
that's more. I'm so excited to see that, by the way. John Varvatos.
Yeah, John Varvatos is my favorite.
Dark Rebel.
I want to talk about Jimmy Vesey.
Yeah.
Because,
What about him?
Because that is one hell of a risk by Tim Murray to go after a guy like that.
I so hope that it doesn't work
And
out.
this is the thing, he's come this
So
far.
good.
He has come this far. Why wouldn't he go to unrestricted free agency?
Exactly. Like, I mean, that would be like trading for Stamkos' rights right now.
I don't get it.
They're not similar players, but I mean,
but the logic still, it doesn't make sense.
here's why I don't want that to happen, and it has nothing to do with the rumors of VC to Toronto. It has nothing to do with that. It's just that I want to see Tim Murray sad on TV. Like that's what he's the best when he's upset.
Sure is.
He's so funny.
I'm sorry for everyone who's watching the YouTube version of this. You're probably like, Steve, get off your damn phone. It is definitely quiet. Like there was all that buzz.
It's like Star Fox. It's quiet. Too quiet.
There was all that buzz.
Do a barrel roll.
Do a barrel roll. There was all that buzz after the awards. There was a little bit this morning. There's been like nothing for 2 hours.
Yeah, because everybody's having lunch.
That's what
I'm hungry, man.
You could definitely tell all the insiders, okay, we're at the awards. Okay, we're doing our awards thing. Okay, Jesus. All right, now we got to get to the airport. Oh, fuck, we got to go through the security check. All right, are we waiting for our plane? Are we waiting for our plane? All right. All these details on like every single player. And now they're, getting their crusties out of their eyes.
Yep.
Having some lunch and shit's going to go nuts.
And remember that they're 3 hours behind us, right? So it is only like 10:45 there.
It's brunch.
Oh, now they got to
Brunch
get
time.
back on Buffalo time. It is a hard week for some guys.
Oh yeah,
My man CJ down there getting into that eggs Benny. That's what it is.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
Your man
So
CJ.
do you think, guys? I got to ask you both though. On Jimmy Vesey for a second, does he sign there or no?
No, I wouldn't. If I was him,
You've waited this long.
Exactly.
Steve.
I'm not saying rule
Who
out.
are we talking about, Steve?
Jimmy Vesey.
Okay. So would you sign? Would you sign if you're him in Buffalo? They have a top 6 spot for him, according to Tim Murray.
Yep.
Good coach. Lots of great young talent.
See,
It's Buffalo.
I don't think
Tracksuits.
it's weird that Buffalo said that to him. Tracksuits on him. It's weird that Buffalo said that to him because Nashville said the same thing and it wasn't enticing. I don't think he cares. I think what he cares about is situation. So that is city. That could be proximity to certain people. That could be, I don't know what it is, where he thinks the organization is going. I don't think he cares that there's a top 6 spot available on him. And if I'm Jimmy Vesey, I'm confident in my ability that I will take it if it's not there for me already.
Or my dad works for the Leafs.
But the rumor is the Bruins.
Or his brother's a prospect of the Leafs.
Bruins.
By the way,
Is he? His brother prospect?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, I didn't even know that.
Nolan Vesey.
yeah, Justin loves being aware of Leaf prospects whom no one else is aware of. Does Nolan Vesey have like any chance of doing anything in the Leafs organization?
He had a decent first year in college.
Yeah.
And then Maine, I think it's Maine Black Bears, I think. He had a good first year in college, and then I was actually kind of excited about him as like a guy that could move up because you hope that, if, let's say they play 40 games a year and he puts up 30 in his first year, which is not anything to sneeze at. And then the next year, all of a sudden, you're a point per game guy. Hey, that's pretty good. And it keeps on improving. He didn't take a step forward, but he's like a 6'3", like kind of a big winger, and like just kind of was just like that would be pretty cool if you had a big winger coming out of college that sort of just snuck up on everybody and turned out to be one of those later round
steals.
That sort of
even
really
if he plays on your
worked out.
third line, it's still pretty damn good, right?
Exactly. Has the ability to just put a puck in here and there. Like that's all you could ask for, right? So I was kind of like looking forward to that, but it wasn't as good of a second year, a sophomore year as it was to his first year.
6th round pick, 23 points, 2014, 11 last year. So
Wow.
That's got to be situation, right? Like that can't just be he got bad.
No.
Yeah, I mean, University of Maine is also not one of those like premier NCAA clubs. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those teams that can go sort of back and forth, can have a really good year, can sort of fall off and stuff like that. They're not, I wouldn't call them perennial powerhouses like the Boston teams or like a North Dakota or Minnesota or something like that.
Sorry, Steve, what were you going to say? You go ahead.
Well, I was going to say there was a rumor out there that the Leafs are just going to let JJ Pitchinich walk. And he was another Leaf prospect who was on the London Knights this past year. Didn't get a lot of attention, obviously because of Marner.
So there was some confusion about that.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that he was not drafted out of the OHL.
That's right. What did he do? You know his path better than I.
He would have gone to college.
Yeah. No, he did.
And if he went to college, then you have an extended window to sign him.
And then he left and came to the OHL.
Right. So I think that the extended window still applies for him.
This is very
There was a lot
confusing.
of confusion around that. I don't know if Pitchinich is in or out.
That would have been good to ask Chris.
I mean, if he is in, then, I mean, that's nice. If he's not in, I mean, he's not one of the top prospects in the organization.
No.
So, and I mean, that's the thing about, people are talking about like quantity of picks and stuff like that. And the hottest thing is to trade down and get, use those numbers and odds to get more players and stuff like that. But there's restrictions. It's not just the 50 contract limit. I think there's something like 90 in the organization that you need to be
Yes.
aware of. Like
Yeah.
there's an actual limit of how big the organization can be. So, I mean, there will be some prospects that just fall out of the system because
They just don't have any room for them.
and because
And
the
they're
prospect
upgrading.
pool is really good.
Yeah.
Best in the league.
What's
That's the big thing on Twitter right now is just Leafs fans just being totally obnoxious.
But do you
I don't know
genuinely
where it
believe
came
that,
from.
though?
I have no idea where it came from.
Like no shtick. Do you actually believe that the Leafs had the best prospect pool?
So close.
Like, did it? But
Who would
like, it
they-
happened that quickly?
Who would
Really?
be up there with them?
Winnipeg. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Winnipeg's really high up there. They've got a really good prospect pool. And
Carolina's
it helps,
turned it around, too.
It helps the fact that, I mean, when you talk about best prospect pool, you also sort of include, like the thing is that any prospect pool with like Connor McDavid in it shoots up to the top, but Connor McDavid's not a prospect anymore. So like, that's it. You know what I mean?
That is true.
And then you get Winnipeg comes in pretty big, wins big at the lottery because they were going to pick 6th or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
Seventh, I think.
I think it might have been 7th.
yeah. So they move up to 2nd and get Line A, and that's a big boost, right?
Huge.
If
We talk
I-
about the Leafs winning. The Leafs just got their spot back.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Winnipeg, they won.
Yeah, no, the Winnipeg were the big winners of the draft lottery for sure. But yeah, no, I mean the Leafs are up there. I think they're top 5 easily, and
And that's where you want to be
yeah,
at all times. So that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, we're going to move on from hockey.
What?
to sports-related things.
Oh.
Okay, but this is a choose-your-own adventure. So do you want to hear the Bob Cole of UEFA?
Oh, yes.
Do you want to hear that?
Yes.
Okay, we're not even gonna. I'm not even gonna give you the other opportunities to listen. Have you heard this yet, Justin?
No.
Iceland won a game at the
Oh,
Euro.
I did hear this.
Everyone needs to hear this.
This could be the best announcing you have ever heard in your entire life because of the excitement. Now, the thing is that you have to remember, Iceland is not a very big country. I think there's, 400,000 or 500,000?
No, I checked last night. Supposedly, the 2013 census, I think the number was 323,000.
So if there are, and I think there was something like 30 or 40,000 Icelandic fans there, they said.
Like a chunk of the population.
Like 10% of the population or something
More.
in attendance.
More. Yeah.
Which is bananas. All right, so this is so big. So big. Check this out. They're going against Austria, huge perennial power. It just keeps going. I need water right now. And it's amazing because they won 2-1. And was that not in overtime too? Like it was just
90th minute.
Wow.
So it was, this is an unprecedented victory.
Imagine Scarborough entering a soccer tournament.
Winning in UEFA.
Okay.
Like how big, I'm trying to think of a Canadian city. Think of a place half the size of Winnipeg.
Half of Winnipeg.
They haven't lost a game yet.
How is that a
3/5 of
measuring
Quebec
stick?
City.
What?
How is the city of Winnipeg a measuring stick?
Because it's like 600,000 something.
Yeah. Or how about this? How about
Just
this?
stop talking about Winnipeg.
You're right. You're right.
Just-
I should only
Halifax-
talk about Toronto and other good cities
Yeah,
like Toronto.
exactly.
I believe the Halifax regional municipality is about 250,000. Not just the city, but the surrounding area. So it'd be like it's like Halifax winning a big game in UEFA.
Yeah! By the way, so here, play it one more time. The goal isn't actually scored until the third yaw.
Okay, so I will. So basically, I want to set this up too. If you haven't seen it, it is they break away. They have this incredible
During injury time in a tied game.
and 3 guys on 1 guy, right? So that's usually spells doom. I can't imagine what would
I
happen
don't know if
had
I
they
can
missed.
listen to this again. My throat actually hurt the first time, and it wasn't me screaming.
But imagine, and I will tell you when they score, so that we're picking it up from halfway, like from the
Midfield.
Midfield. Here we go.
3-on-2.
Scores. And then they shoot to all the beautiful Austrian people.
He screamed
We're
so
like-
loud that I learned a little bit of Icelandic.
Yeah.
So I have a question. This is like a sort of I guess a round table sort of thing.
Sure.
What in life would make you so happy that you would scream like that?
The Leafs winning the Stanley Cup.
I
in
would not
overtime.
scream like that.
If
I don't
they
think I
won it in
can.
overtime. Like, I was thinking about that too. If they just won and like the score was 4-2.
Yeah. In game 4?
I still wouldn't. Yeah,
No.
I still wouldn't quite freak out. They would have to win it Game 7 in overtime.
And it would have to be next year.
Over who?
oh yeah,
It'd have to be next year over the Blackhawks. Like Game 7
not
overtime.
the Blackhawks.
Like a
Outdoor.
dominant team. Outdoor.
in the Rogers Center.
Walking backwards in their pajamas in the middle of a snowstorm.
No,
Like,
it would have to
be.
it would have to be like Edmonton or Vancouver or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? You want it? No, you want it
Because
against a dominant,
because
scary
it's
team.
No, because it's way more fun to beat those fan bases than it is to beat Chicago.
throw Montreal in the Western Conference
Jim
somehow.
Houston would have an aneurysm. Like he'd be so upset.
Oh,
Because
can you imagine?
he loves the Canucks.
They just someone bursts into an office and goes, "I'm sorry, Jim, but, and then Jim interrupts him and just goes, I understand, and then hands a microphone to Bob Cole. and he does it in Icelandic. Okay, три à trois.
So they,
I come pretty close to screaming like that when I go and get burritos. But like other than that,
Do you want guac?
So they actually translated this. They translated this.
okay, yeah, go
So
ahead.
he says, it's all open. Theodore Elmar is alone here on the side of the pitch.
Elmo.
They are 3-on-2. Emmy, which is short for Elmar, go into the box. Go into the box, Emmy. Yes, yes, yes. Capital yes, capital yes. We are winning this. We are through to the final 16. We are through to the final 16. We are winning. We are winning Austria. The voice has gone, but that doesn't matter. We've qualified. The final whistle has been blown, and never have I felt so good. Never lost. Don't forget, never lost. But the first victory, a fact. Iceland 2, Austria 1. Thanks for coming, Austria. Thanks for coming. He's taunting Austria.
Oh, dude,
my
if your country is under 1 million people, you're allowed to be as big of a homer and talk as much shit as you want.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's probably got, like, cousins on that team, neighbors, the guy who, like, dry cleans a suit. Like, how do they have a soccer team?
He's on the team. He's just a sub. He's not playing that day.
Yeah, he's the backup goalie. Well, one game, the other goalie is hurt, so he's got to do it, like, from the net. Like, really far away, but because he's such a psychopath, you can still hear him. My team is playing really good defense in front of me! I can do this game, no problem. Fuck, the ball's coming! Oh my god, I made an incredible save!
What do you guys know about Zach Wheeler?
I know that I'm lightheaded. Zach Wheeler, why does that ring a bell?
Anybody?
Related to Blake?
Zach Wheeler's
Blake Wheeler?
He's a professional baseball player. Plays for the Mets.
Yeah, that's why I don't know.
Is he on the Tennessee Titans? No, don't care.
He's a pitcher.
yeah.
He's been around
26.
26 years old. Pretty good player. Pretty good player. And that brings us to Mike Francesa.
I was gonna say.
Steve almost spit up water.
I have a bit of a headache.
So
Was it from all that screaming?
yeah,
Really? Amazing.
So Mike Francesa saw a report from Sportsnet New York about a torn ligament of Zach Wheeler's. The problem with the report is that it was a year old, and he reported it as breaking news.
Mike.
So we cut to Mike. Oh no, it can't be played. Shut up. Shut up. Yes, you can play. You played earlier. Don't you dare. Hang on. Hold on.
And this tweet, by the way, is from 4 years ago. Adam's been had.
No. Here we
People
go.
have been doing that, by the
Here
way.
it is.
Fuck off with that. They're like, oh man, the Ducks re-signed Tim Jackman.
Oh, sorry.
I liked the Breeze Glove going back to Anaheim.
Yeah,
That was good.
That was good.
That was a good one.
Now, this Mets season's taken a turn. It's just been reported that
Oh no, Mike.
that Wheeler suffered a torn ulnar collateral ligament. So a very, very bad. We don't know anything about Cespedes yet, anything about Syndergaard, but Wheeler, who was shut down when he was about to start pitching from the mound, had pain, and now it's found that he has suffered. Gary Apple just reported on SNY, has suffered an ulnar collateral ligament tear, and so a enormous setback.
Do you know how many
for
thousands
Wheeler.
of people
so
are
he
hearing
has
this?
suffered an ulnar collateral.
It made the New York Daily News.
Oh, my
this is how
God.
big this story is.
I love it.
Oh wait, it made the
ligament
Daily
tear.
News as, oh my god, he's hurt, or Mike Francesa.
Mike
blowing this up.
Francesa incorrectly reported.
So
Hang on. Now we got to hang on for the
get
first
Eddie
caller.
up. Let's see. Make sure Eddie knows and see that what's going on. But they just reported it just seconds ago on SNY that
Just seconds
he
ago.
has suffered
So he clearly checked the
ulnar
time.
collateral ligament tear. They discovered. So the news on Wheeler, very bad.
Oh no,
Very, very bad.
He sounds like he's like reporting a death.
Yeah.
We
The
have
Mets gave
terrible
that to
news.
SNY. So they must have given it to Eddie. I want to hear the whole report. So ulnar collateral ligament tear for Wheeler. So, again, this is the Met news continues to be bad. You hope it isn't for Cespedes. Cespedes left the game to... No, they just to it a minute ago. They said the news about Wheeler came up yesterday, man.
Someone's trying to tell
So
him.
his producer, at this point, I believe.
No.
After we are a minute 49 in. His producer's trying to say no. See, when our producer speaks up, it's because we know he's right, and we allow him to correct us. Mike.
So I was just watching it. They broke into the show and said the news. He went to the hospital yesterday. He came up with an ulnar collateral ligament tear. That's what he said from yesterday's show. Apple was just on there a minute ago. You tell me that was a tape from last year's show that he was on when they broke into the show? Yeah, but they broke into the show with that. Is they saying that was that yesterday's or last year's?
Oh no.
Was that yesterday or last year's? Just call up Eddie and ask him if the Mets reported that. Wait a second. He went to the hospital yesterday. They just had him break into the show a minute ago and said the news on Wheel is not good. Is that new news or last year's news?
Aren't one-sided arguments great?
They're
amazing.
My first thought was Mike the other guy up. My second thought was don't. This is too good.
Fine, just get Eddie up and find out if that's the news, because he did go to the hospital yesterday.
I bet you there isn't a producer.
Just what Apple just said.
there
is.
is.
That a new report
No,
or
I
an
think
old
I think
report?
he's just crazy. He's just yelling at himself.
Is that in last year's news? Is that the injury, or
Broadcasting
is that-
from an
is that
abandoned
what
ice
we have
cream
again?
truck.
Because I just saw them break into the show. You tell me they broke into the show with the highlight show? Is that what that was? So he goes there, the hospital last year, and he goes there again yesterday, and it's the same report? Or is Wheeler down again, or is that last year's news?
How has nobody answered him yet?
So we'll find out, folks, what the story is on that. Is that a report that was? Is that a tape from last year on the same report, or is that a new report? Because I just heard him say that on the air.
Say report
That
again.
It was that the news on Wheeler is not good. He went to the hospital. Is that yesterday's report, or is that last
Holy
year's
fuck!
report?
Ask it again, Mike. God damn.
We'll get a confirmation on that.
Keep not answering him.
This would make a kick-ass drinking game.
Oh, how many times did you say report? You get drunk.
Report.
Oh, see, I'm not stopping it.
I'm just asking him if that's the case. He just came up on the
haven't
screen a
stopped
minute
the
ago.
tape.
Is that a report from last year, or is that a new report?
Jesus Christ, Mike!
Yesterday. And they said, he just said the news from the hospital yesterday is not good. Now, what would be the odds that that was happening again, that wasn't a new report? Was that a new report or an old report?
Report.
In order for us all
what
not
I'm
to
asking.
die, we would have to take turns. We would have to go like Adam,
Yeah.
Jesse. Okay.
Again, I haven't stopped the tape.
Was that a highlight of last year's show? Or was
Justin
that
has
new
to have a
report
shot.
about
Another
Wheeler
report.
from yesterday.
Yep.
He's getting up again.
That just appeared. Well, call SNY and ask them. They just put it up there. Is it a new report or an old report? Is that a new
All
report?
right. Oh, there's no.
Well, we don't know. Call SNY and ask them what was just on their screen.
Oh my God, we got to be careful. There's kids about to go to prom listening to the show. Like, guys, I got a fucking idea.
Last year's report, or is that a new report? That's last year's report. So that's not a new report on Wheeler. Okay, so folks, that is not a new
This is
report.
hard. I'm drinking my water.
So
This is
I
hard.
just walked into the room and saw him reporting that, and I wanted to make sure if it was a new report or an old report. That is last year's report, because I'm watching him say, Wheeler went to the hospital yesterday, which we know he did, and the news isn't good, and that's last year's report, not this year's report. Okay, so...
Every time he says report, he says it twice.
Okay,
Show.
Adam and
I
I
saw
will
Apple
drink
what he was reporting.
on
Oh.
Is This Last Year's Report? Jesse and
So that's
Justin
not a new
This
report
is
on
not a
Wheeler.
will drink on. He was at the
we do
hospital
not have
yesterday.
a new report on Wheeler yet. That is, so Wheeler, the report is still waiting to hear. That is last year's report on Wheeler that they were showing. Let me turn that off, because I just watched Wheeler walking into the room here say that, and I'm saying, what is he saying?
You know how bad Adam
And
has
he
to
said
be right now.
Wheeler's in the hospital yesterday. We didn't feel well. He went to the hospital, which is exactly what happened. And it's last.
Anyway, that was 5 minutes of Mike going, was it a report or not a report? Was that last year's report or is this a report?
But you know what's great about that? That's terrible.
Everything.
It's terrible radio. Like, if you submitted that as like a first
You're
year
not getting a
project,
job on that.
No, if you submitted that as a project in like first year of broadcasting school, they would flunk you out. But
You would make it
every
into
person,
you wouldn't make it into the school.
That's correct. But every single person listening to that show is, what is it, Mike? Was it last year or not?
You're staying. You're
Is it
staying.
now? Oh my God, the Mets are fucked. Or are they fucked? I don't know. Who can they trade? What prospects do they have? I bet they can trade this guy and they can get this one. Come on, they gotta save the season. What the fuck? They can't just rely on Syndergaard.
And Javi.
They can't just rely on Javi. Oh my
Javi's
God.
got to go back to the gym.
Mike, you fucking kill me. Mike, you fucking kill. They're screaming at the radio. Just the most compelled they've been. They're. It's like Iceland guys and them. Yeah! Is it an old report? Yeah. I don't know if I've ever been that amped.
That was
yes,
funny.
you have.
Now
Oh,
I've got
okay. Yes,
one
you
last
have.
thing before we go to the press conference. Okay, one last fun thing, and it has to do with sports. Did you guys see any of?
That's a good start.
Well, we want to tie it into something. Did you see any of the Cleveland Cavaliers victory parade?
Yes.
Okay,
A little bit of it.
So you saw the fans scaling the walls.
I saw. Yeah.
And some crazy stuff going on in Cleveland. However, it's been their first championship in a long time, so God bless them. A little scary though. I'm not losing my life over a championship. You obviously then saw J.R. Smith walking with his child after it was over without a shirt on. Did you see that?
I'm not sure I saw that. I mean, all the pictures of him with the shirt off kind of blend together.
Jesse,
I was
back me
gonna
up.
say, that's a lot of photos.
J.R. Smith, pretty big deal for Cleveland to win the championship.
Yeah, he
right?
hasn't worn a shirt since they won.
He has not worn a
Like
shirt.
Tyler Seguin when Boston won.
Right. So do you know the name Jason Isringhausen?
No, but what a mouthful.
He was a
What
dominant.
WHL team does he? No, I'm sorry.
Dominant closer for the Cardinals in the late 90s and early 2000s. Like probably one of the best closers ever behind, like he's top 3 with like Mariano Rivera and anyway. So J.R. Smith walking, don't show them the tweet.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen that.
Okay. J.R. Smith walking with a shirt on and with a shirt off and holding his child's hand.
Adorable.
Adorable. That's what I look at it and I go, that's adorable. What do you think Jason Isringhausen had to say about that of the St. Louis Cardinals and of the area of the world where there's some questionable activity going on?
I imagine
Where
it was
is Jason?
dumb.
Where's
What do
Jason
you think he said?
from?
Well, he's at this point, according to the tweet, he's in Illinois.
I saw it. This fucking guy was like, he should really be setting a better example for the kids, but at least put on a damn shirt.
Here's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see
word
this.
for word. And Steve, I know what words you need. You need to step in here and accentuate the proper wording.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to
Okay,
read it, and
good.
then I need you to follow me on this, okay? So, is it just me, or representing your organization and your town during a championship parade with no shirts on shows... Sorry, blah, blah, blah. Is it just me, or representing your organization and your town during championship parade with no shirts on show much class? Class! That is a poorly worded tweet, by the way.
It is.
Holy smokes.
I blacked out there
I'm
for a
sorry, I
second.
had to read that twice to
Yeah.
make sure it was that poorly worded.
it was bad.
But what he's saying is they don't have any... Now tell me how a young man walking with his son after winning a championship and holding his daughter, daughter. I didn't see the picture that closely, to be honest. Child holding their hands. Tell me how that's not classy. Tell me how. Now, if they found J.R. Smith with playing Edward 40 hands and he had 2 40s strapped to his hands and he couldn't get them off until he drank them, that's not classy.
Justin slapping me like that happens to me every birthday.
Yes.
It does.
With an increasingly
It does.
disgusting beard.
But tell me.
And a Buzz Lightyear helmet.
Tell me
yeah.
how walking shirtless matters ever to anyone.
Hockey has some really, really bad please like my sport moments where people go, in hockey, that has to be the most baseball versus basketball thing I've ever heard. It really does.
Adam,
Who gives a flying fuck? Who really cares?
it really comes down to nipples.
Is it the nipples?
It's the nipples.
there's some nipples you can wind your watch to.
I don't understand. Like what? Okay, and what was hilarious about this is he says, "Is it just me?"
Yes.
And then everybody was like, "Yep, it's just you." And literally the first 8 comments are, "It's you, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you." Like there's nothing not classy about that. And it's almost literally Twitter exists for people to say shitty shit about things that are okay.
It's hot as fuck. He's covered like
In badass
eyebrows
tattoos.
to toenails in tattoos.
Which are badass.
Which, I mean, if you're going to spend all that money and have all that ink done on you, you might as well flaunt it. And
he's walking with his
third
daughter.
of all, fuck off. Like, who cares? Why? Should he be wearing a 3-piece suit? He's outside all day, walking around, friggin' people hugging him, high-fiving him, getting all friggin' sweaty.
I'm not sure-
Champagne flowing all over the place. It's
I'm
a
not
championship parade.
Yeah, the parade's not supposed to be classy.
You should have worn a bathing suit.
It's a party.
It is a party.
Championship
It's a
parade.
party. Like that's what it should be.
Also, when you're J.R. Smith and you were instrumental, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every basketball player is instrumental. Like, it's smaller teams, you know?
Well,
Okay.
they
fair
shortened
enough.
the bench. And,
As I said it, I'm like,
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, no, not
about
quite.
3, 4 maybe. But yeah, I didn't get that at all, and I just wanted to remind everybody that people like this exist. Don't be one of them.
I don't know if people needed reminding.
also, just don't start tweets off with is it
it
me?
just me?
Yeah,
Yes.
because that's just bad form. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna get.
You're asking
gonna-
for it, even if they agree with you.
Because what if it is? Is
Yeah.
it just me? It just might be.
No offense, but
I shouldn't be saying this, but
yeah.
that's
This
not-
might not be politically correct.
yeah.
Definitely racist.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to be racist, but
no offense.
That's-
here's something
yeah.
racist, and the people say that. People say that.
Yeah.
That's that Bill Burr thing. Yeah.
I
What
don't
is it?
want to be racist, but I am.
I don't want to be racist, but followed by fucked up conversation.
Yeah.
It's never a good thing.
No!
It's never like I don't want to be racist, but like the weather is beautiful today. Like it's really nice out. It's
Justin,
never something like that.
don't take this the wrong way.
Yes. Yeah. Don't take it the
Which
wrong
I
way.
have heard many
But
times.
I'm
You know
a-
how many people come up to me and they go, listen, don't take this the wrong way, but I thought you were taller.
Don't take this the wrong way, followed by fucked up thing you should probably take the wrong way.
or
Like,
but
Don't take this the wrong way, but
Like-
I'm a big fan of pizza. Like it never happens like that. Never. Like it.
No, you're right. Anyway,
that's okay. That is like an okay way to start a sentence if someone's wearing a shirt that says "fuck gluten."
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
it. That's
Yeah.
the only way.
Let's do the press conference.
I think Justin wanted me to ask this question.
I thought you never listened.
What's that? No, I listened to this for Adam.
Just no videos.
For all my hot takes.
Yeah.
Justin wanted me to ask
Yeah.
Austin 416. This is from Ryan, by the way, or Austin 2016.
It's Austin 2016. It
I
absolutely
mean,
is.
416 is kind of cool too.
416
No, it's
works,
not.
though.
I think the
416 is
answer
terrible.
is certainly
April
416.
16th? You don't like that?
What is
Or
April?
not April,
16th?
April and
I think-
2016.
No, I think the.
Dude, it's the area code of
Yeah,
Toronto.
yeah, it's 416.
I thought it
So you-
happened. Didn't it?
Toronto.
Or was it early May? That the draft lottery
It's okay.
took place?
Adam's from
It
Montreal or
doesn't
something.
matter.
What?
416.
2016 is the year of the draft.
That's
Also,
why we do the press conference.
you have to remember what this is from. It's a good thing you had me on to talk about this because,
Thanks, buddy.
pro wrestling and everything.
If it's Austin 416, your shirt never goes old. Like it works throughout his tenure in Toronto, which will be 25 plus years.
But his draft year is never going to change.
Yeah, but the shirt's not in 2016 next year.
This is better. This is the beginning of an era.
Guys, I just want to quickly.
If you're gonna invest in a T-shirt, invest in the 2016 one.
Can we
That's what I'm
just?
saying?
Can I just jump in with something that makes the Mike Francesa thing way worse?
Oh, okay.
I forgot all of this stuff in setting it up, and I did a terrible job setting it up.
Oh,
because I
Adam.
missed all of this.
And I still loved it.
Here's what happened yesterday in New York sports.
Oh, no.
The Knicks traded for Derrick Rose. The Yankees won a walk-off home run game by Starlin Castro. The Mets beat the Royals, but Noah Syndergaard and Jonas Cespedes left the game with elbow and wrist concerns, and Mike Francesa broke in with Zach Wheeler.
He broke in.
Broke in with that's the breaking news. I just want to throw that out there.
So, like, even if it were from that day, it would have been like fourth down the line
Yes.
of things to talk about.
yes.
Yeah, biggest story was obviously Rose Gardner.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God!
Three
What a trade.
tabloids went out with the same
Headline.
Which
was-
Rose Garden. 3 separate ones at the same time. Yeah, it was pretty
You
good.
see, because
It's at the Garden. I get it.
Daniel wants to know how much the Leafs can get for Bernier,
oof, not a lot, man.
Nothing at full price.
which would be
If the at his full contract, Leafs would have to retain.
Oh, you think
That's what I'm saying.
Now, are you okay with that? Because how many retention spots do they have this year? I think it's 2.
Yeah, but
Because it's just Kessel.
Gunnarsson one. Their Gunnarsson one is done.
Yeah, that comes off.
Yeah,
And then
so
I
I
can't
think
think
they
of
have an
another
open one. And this year, yeah, they don't have any big contracts to get rid of and retain on. So
I forgot they were retaining on
Do you have general
Kessel?
manager open
on
there,
Gunnarsson.
yeah,
Is-
Gunnarsson.
Are they still paying for Gleason?
Yeah, but that's not a retention.
No, but it just makes it easier to retain
Oh wait,
salary.
no, was it a retention? And then I don't know. I get him.
Gleason. Yes,
Lyles.
they're paying 1.3 till 2018.
God, so much money
their
comes
buyout.
off the books at the end of the year.
It's a buyout.
So much
What for the
money.
Leafs?
Oh, well, there's Gleason's thing.
Well, that's 2018. It comes off.
Yeah, next year.
Oh, damn.
Or,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But
anyway.
you've got Mahalik, Greening, so that's 11, $12 million right there.
You have another year to try to get rid of Lupul. Who knows if Bozak's even going to be back?
Well, Lupul
Bernier
doesn't
will
matter
certainly
because
be
he's
gone.
not going to play.
That's not what CJ seems to think. It
not what
seems
Lupul's
pretty
saying.
up in the air.
Yeah.
It seems pretty up in the air, man.
I think that you can get something for Bernier.
Yeah.
If
Eventually.
you well, not eventually. It's 1 year left, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, like, eventually this season.
Like deadline, you think?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could do it this offseason. Somebody's looking for a
I think you
backup
could
or something
and you
like that. You know,
I don't think Bernier wants to go somewhere and be a backup.
I don't think he has a choice. He's going to be a
No,
backup
he
here.
doesn't. Dude, James Reimer is the undisputed best goalie available at UFA, and he's probably going to have to sign as a backup. I wrote a thing based on what we talked about last show with Tom from General Fanager. I went through all 30 NHL teams trying so desperately to just find this guy. Forget a starting job, a job. And I had a really hard time. There's like 4 teams that make sense. That's about
There's
it.
still going to be some trades though, and I think
Yeah.
so. Like Tampa Bay is going to trade somebody.
Bishop would be very excited.
Pittsburgh could trade Fleury, and if that, could you see? I could see Matt Murray and James Reimer as a platoon.
That would be great.
Like that would work. You
I
know,
just-
I could see that one of those teams being like, we need a backup goaltender, and maybe we don't want to spend $4+ million, and on like a free agent, like one of the top free agents, and then they go, oh well, how about we just like make a deal with the Leafs and get Bernier at like half the cost. They'll eat half the salary, and we'll give up like a 6th round pick or something like that. Like that's nothing.
Yeah. And
he's
again,
not-
and
If
it's
the
not-
Leafs are retaining, they're getting more than that. I would hope. You're paying for that.
It also
You're getting 2 things you need.
It also
Salary-
helps if the Leafs don't want to get rid of that contract, want to get rid of the money too. Like, it helps the Leafs as well beyond the pick. They'll get that extra.
Because what are they,
cap space.
5-6 under right now?
But
They're
that's
a
it
little
too. And let's also
God, they
remember
are
that-
going to explode over the next 48 hours, I think.
let's also remember that the Leafs will then also need a backup for Andersen.
Yes, this is true.
And you can't say that it Sparks. Like, you can't say definitively that he's going to be the backup.
Yeah, the one problem I have with trading Bernier is, or sorry, not trading Bernier, retaining salary on Bernier, is you then have to replace him. And you certainly can't sign a goalie who, if you add the retention, is Bernier or more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't sign someone who's like $3 million bucks.
Yep.
A lot of people are going out with that line like, oh, the Leafs are paying like $9 million for their goaltending. It's like, who cares? Like,
Yeah, this year.
who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't
it's
matter
1
this year.
year.
It's
pretty
And
dishonest.
sometimes that stuff kind of works out. Now, if they say, oh, we want to go after Stamkos super, super hard, but damn, we don't have that $1 million more
Yeah.
to get it done, then that's unfortunate. But I doubt that Bernier is not going to be the reason they
Well,
don't get Stamkos.
and also you could look at Greening, Mahalik, and and you could put their
Yeah.
point total together from last year, and it's you'd be like, wow, we're paying $11 million for those 3.
Yeah.
But that's all going to expire. That's all set to expire. Those guys.
That's the cost of getting rid of Fanup's contract.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
I'll take it.
Sorry,
and
were you going to say something, Jesse?
No.
what was the deal in Washington? The Washington deal too.
Right.
Winnick.
No, the reason I pointed at you, speaking of Winnick, former Arizona Coyote, well, former Phoenix Coyote, technically, how much floor room do the Coyotes still have?
They have to spend money.
They got to spend a shitload of money, because I was...
$14 million
Good
floor space.
God, still! And so, even with Datsuk, that's only half of it.
If they paid Stamkos what the Sabres are willing to pay him, they still would not be at the cap floor.
I looked...
That's so stupid.
I have to say, Detroit's so lucky that Arizona's out there.
Oh.
Like, to take on that.
He just saved them.
Who has the Zbynek Mahalik? Is it the Coyotes?
He got dealt.
'Cause you know
he
who's
got
got
dealt.
his-
He went to... Zbynek went to St. Louis, I
The
think.
Blues? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, you know who's got his brother? The Leafs. Like, I just wonder if one of or Mahalik or Greening or something could go to Arizona. I don't know. I actually really liked Greening. Seems like he'll be...
And
a
I think
leadership
Mahalik is just a steady force. He's just been there.
guy. And
He's just there. He fills a spot.
He's getting a little old.
But that's the thing, is that he fills a spot.
Yeah.
And they
Oh, yeah,
need
yeah.
guys that fill spots right now.
Yeah.
They do
Yeah,
need
yeah.
that. I don't have any problem with them keeping them the whole year. Who cares?
Yeah, yeah.
If you get nothing for them, so what?
Press conference question sent in via text from Justin Fisher. Yakupov?
Yeah.
Because we were talking about it before the show and it just never came up.
So what are your thoughts on Yakupov? What's the rumor on him? What's the cost?
Reports from Ryan Rashog, I'll just say it, is he could supposedly be had for a second or third.
Okay, then I'd take him.
I would give up a second and a third for him if I had to.
But I would give a third.
I said this before, and it's maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but I'd give up the 31st pick for Yakupov.
That's a little rich for me.
What kind of player are you going to get at 31?
Well, no, it's rich for me because
PK Subban.
Well,
it's rich for me because of the
Duncan
price that was
Keith.
set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah. The 31st pick is a second round pick. The most valuable of second round picks.
As we discussed, the 30th pick is basically a second. The 31st is basically a first.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Well, see me. I would go the later second round pick that they have. I think that they still have
57 from Washington.
Yeah, and because here's the deal: we know Yakupov has skill, and we know that he's played for head coach. What is it? 4 head coaches now, and we know that he's played on the worst team in the last decade in the NHL, worse than the Leafs in the worst team.
Oh, yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They're the worst
team, organization,
overall,
fans, everything.
horrendously run team. So bad. By the way, have I told you the Edmonton Oilers have been poorly run?
Just slip that one in there.
And,
I don't get it.
And I love their fans. The fans are the best. It's the organization who
He
have.
loves the fans. Again, we disagree.
But
Adam, you've been listening to too much Donald Trump.
no, the fans are the greatest because I can relate to them.
Make hockey great again.
But
man.
the thing is that if you can get a guy like Yakupov with that kind of skill, I just love to see what the best coach in the league can do with him.
yeah.
And if it fails after 1 year, so what?
Yakupov is
That's a gamble worth having.
Is at worst an offensive-minded third liner. At worst.
Which I think is kind of the direction the Leafs are going.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be a top-heavy
It
team.
could fit well. Like
Is he a left or right winger? I think he's a right.
Right?
Because the Leafs are a little log jammed on the right. There are a couple guys who can play right and left.
Well, who do you got?
Well, Nylander, I think they want to convert to wings, and I'm not even sure which wing that is.
He should.
Yeah, Hyman, I believe, is a right winger. Sosh, I believe, is a right winger.
Yakupov shoots left, by the way.
Shoots left, but what wing does he play on?
Right.
Left wing.
I think he'll play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he plays whatever wing you put him on
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think Yakupov gets to make that call anymore.
Interesting. You know,
It's more about where he, because I mean, if you take a wing or a left winger and you say you got to play on the right side now, it can screw them up.
But he's a left shot.
I'm not convinced this is where he
it can
maxes
still,
out.
it can
It would still mess him up?
shoot him up.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason why it can screw him up is because
Right wing.
Right wing.
it can screw you up because I mean, for instance, you take like Ovechkin, like he likes playing on the right, even though he's a left shot. The reason is he can
No, he's a right shot.
He's a right shot, and he plays on the left. Sorry,
Right, because
the reason he does that is because then he can have the puck on his right side to the right of his body, closer to the middle of the ice, giving himself a better lane, better
Fair.
shot at the net. It can really screw up people who are shooters, in particular.
Right. Okay.
It's a lot easier. The reason why left-handed shots play on the left is because it's much easier to protect the puck. keep the puck between yourself and the boards and use your body to protect from people in the middle. If you go out wide and come in wide, then it's better to be left.
That little Ovechkin style.
Ovechkin likes to cut to them
because he can.
That's what happened to Lupul when he was having success, wasn't it? They're like, no, you're playing left.
Yeah,
and he's a right shot, and then he put up, I think it was 95 points. I made that up. I think it was like 60.
Next question.
Who would win the Panago Pizza It's What's on the Inside That Counts award from Reddit?
That is Reddit trying to goad us into some ridiculous...
Who would win? What is the award?
For the NHL.
It's what's on the inside that counts.
Oh,
which is our...
Oh, I see. Sorry, I get... Yeah.
So,
James Reimer.
yeah.
I was going to say for biggest
Yeah,
heart.
it's James.
James Reimer.
It is what's on the
That's
inside.
unanimous.
Yeah.
This is for Jeff and Adam. What's worse?
Jeff?
Jeff.
Sorry.
How dare you? Oh my God. We're gonna have words after
Jeff
this.
Probst. Jeff Probst.
All right,
What's
so we
worse?
got Jeff on our show.
Zach Wheeler.
Just tell us about you got some shoes from that rapper guy there, Kanye.
Jeff was on the show last year. That's an old report.
What's worse? Jake and Smallwood, Steve going off about him and then having him on the show, or Are You Here to See Me?
What's worse?
Yeah.
I guess in terms of I was a jerk for ripping on Jake and Smallwood, and I was a jerk for trying to big shot Sasky fucking Stewart.
Yeah, and now you're here to. Are you here to see me? Is one of the.
Did you see the tweet the other day from France? Like, I found Steve Dangle in France, and it's somebody who took a picture of an M&M sign and is like, "Oh, you're here to see this M&M."
I've told this story on this show before. I know I haven't. I won't tell the full story. But it's funny how far Steve has come, because the first time he was noticed in public, somebody said, "I'm a big fan," and he goes, "Of what?" And now he just thinks that everybody's here to see him. Like, I mean, jeez, wow.
Big fan of what?
Yeah.
Is that a Marley's game?
Yeah, it was great. I had to
such
hold
an
his
idiot.
hot dog while he shook hands. I was like, okay, I'll just wait here.
You guys really are good friends.
Most of my teenage life and early 20s was basically just standing behind Steve waiting for him to finish up a conversation with somebody.
You almost crashed into a friggin' like a drive-through thing at Tim Hortons because Jordan Eberle called me.
No, it wasn't Everly. No.
It was definitely Jordan
Was it
Eberle.
Eberle?
Yeah, he goes, "Hi, Steve, this is Jordan Eberle," and you went because I was trying to have him on our show, I think. Or I had that was when I was setting up
was
the shitty YouTube
Kadri
video that I
and
did with him.
Sagan and all that stuff too. It was
Kadri, Sagan.
They all phoned you.
We had Kadri and Sagan on the same show.
Yeah, Taylor Hall.
Some big
Taylor
names.
Hall,
Yeah,
Big
Tyson
names.
Berry,
yeah.
Carter Ashton.
Is this still on YouTube?
Oh, probably, yeah.
Man, I don't
It's
know, maybe.
bad.
Yeah.
They're bad.
I think Steve big shotting Sasky Stewart will always win. I think that's
my
the
fave.
and by the way, Mr. Smallwood is going to be just fine.
Berkshire texted me. He goes, "Jake and Smallwood almost giving you his phone number is the funniest thing I've heard in months." Yeah, I still get
Nice
tweets
Western
about that.
kid.
Oh, just so nice. Like, absolutely the least attackable person.
Yeah,
on the face
nicest
of the earth.
kid.
What a
Seriously.
dick I am. Oh, well.
Last question.
I'm not going to read your Reddit name. Password blank blank is moving to Oshawa, and he wants some advice for graduate studies.
Don't.
I don't think he has a choice.
That's my.
Stay out of the South. No, South Schwa is a little rough.
Eggs and crepes for brunch.
No, you know what? There's actually some pretty nice places to eat in Oshawa. It's this
and
really,
grapes.
it's this really weird mixture of. There's a Panago Pizza in Whitby. Hopefully, Oshawa gets one soon.
We're pushing.
There's a really weird mixture of like dudes covered in car grease with mullets and like hipsters going to school.
Yeah.
With thick frame glasses and they dress like they're from Portlandia. It's a really strange mix, and it changes from building to building.
Yes, and sometimes in the same strip mall.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's extremely odd. Teddy's is awesome. Make sure you don't go there.
The tartan, man. The tartan.
The tartan is be weary of karaoke night because the crowd skews a little older.
We went to karaoke. Was it there or the Black Bear? We went to karaoke.
Black Bear and Ajax.
And it was so bad because everybody at karaoke wanted to sing old country songs. And not like old Garth Brooks old. We're talking older than Willie Nelson old.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was painful.
That was also the night that that sweet old man grabbed the mic. This guy, like, he had to be at least 70. This sweet old man starts singing karaoke, and he's singing a very slow love song to his wife who has Alzheimer's and doesn't really know what's going on. And the song is basically like about like not forgetting him. It was like the top 5, one of the saddest moments I've ever witnessed in my entire life.
That was
like the
so
whole
sad.
bar realized what was going on. It was the saddest thing ever.
We need to do another question because we can't end on that.
No.
Like that's
it.
really bad.
Wasn't there an episode called Steve Tells a Sad Story?
I'm sure
That's
there
just-
is.
Yeah, we can't end on that. What
wanna,
else?
like, go and get-
If you go to sportsnet.ca, you can read Steve's new article on Reimer.
Yeah, that's right.
On James Reimer and how sadly James Reimer will not be a starter in the NHL next year. Wow, this is going well.
My address is in a Jake and Smallwood moment. Justin comes over on occasion. Adam comes over on occasion.
Does
Jesse,
Jeff come over?
no, that's only in Buffalo. By the way, see you tomorrow, honey. I guess predictions for like very quick, rapid fire predictions beyond picks. What's going to happen tomorrow? You want to do that real quick?
The Vancouver Canucks, I believe, are going to trade that pick.
You think so? I think the Blue Jackets are going to trade the third.
Vancouver's trying to win now. They're gonna, and I think this one, I think they're gonna surprise people with this pick. I think it'll be a skill move. They'll grab a skill player.
I think I saw a suggestion yesterday that I think very well could happen. There's some kind of swap that could take place between the Flames and the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets pick third, the Flames pick sixth. Flames have a ton of cap room. The Blue Jackets are dying to unload somebody.
So like a Hartnell.
A Hartnell. I think there's a lot of guys on bad deals that have a whole ton of that gritty gritness that Brian Burke loves, and he's like, bad deal my ass. I'll take Brandon Dubinsky off you. I'll take Nick Foligno. Probably not Foligno, but Hartnell, yeah. So that's what I think could happen.
Arizona moves their pick for somebody to get to that cap floor. Prediction.
Wow, that'd be a lot of somebodies.
Columbus should be
Help get there.
just burning their phones calling Arizona.
Yeah.
The Leafs are going to trade a roster player for a pick.
A
What?
roster player. Now, do you count Peter Holland as a roster player? Because
Yeah,
I
he's a
think he's gone.
Bozak's a
What
roster
kind of?
player.
Oh wow. Do you think high pick, low pick,
Mid-round.
mid round?
Yeah.
So I would say Peter Holland. And I love Peter
for a
Holland.
pick, but it also
My boy.
could be a. Yeah, it's probably. I think what's going to happen is somebody's going to be like, "Oh, my guy's gone. I don't want to use the 3rd round pick anymore," and they send it off. No, it happens. It happens. It does.
Who needs / wants Tyler Bozak?
I wasn't talking about Tyler Bozak in particular.
Oh,
but,
okay.
I mean, but I mean, like it could. I could see him being a guy. I think if the Leafs want to, clear up a little space, if they want to go big fish hunting, or you don't hunt fish, but you're looking for
Justin's just
big fish
in
hunting.
a boat with a fucking shotgun. Let's go.
big buck hunting. How about that? There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in the bars.
Tyler,
Radom Verbata.
I think
No, not right over about it. If they want a big free agent name like a Stamkos, I think they will need to make some room, not only from a money standpoint, but also from a roster space standpoint. Because
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have Matthews is going to be down the middle, Kadri's going to be in the middle. You want another center,
yeah.
you got to get rid of Bozak. So I mean, I think that, but there are teams out there that will want them or take them or stuff like that. There are.
We'll do one final check of Twitter
Okay.
before we leave you
All right,
for
I'm
the
checking
draft.
mine right now.
Okay, I'm gonna look at mine.
Well, Bowmanville Zoo trending. That's not good because that's never good.
Oh,
Led
yeah.
Zeppelin.
So
What the hell is that?
So this is interesting. My tweets are still on fire. They're still good. Lit.
Oh, they're still.
My tweets.
So
It's very cool.
this is very confusing. Chris Johnson retweeted a guy named George Richards, who accidentally tweeted, George Richards have traded Rocco Grimaldi, get back Red O'Bara. I think what he meant to say was the Florida Panthers have traded Rocco Grimaldi, get back Red O'Bara.
Panthers now still have, according to general manager after that trade, $15.58 million in cap space.
It is. Rocco Grimaldi gets a fresh start with the Abs. Florida Panthers get a backup goalie in Reed O'Bara.
Oh, well, so there goes an option for James Reimer.
And the best one, because you get to live in Florida. Guys, we got to go, but thank you so much for listening. Justin, thank you for coming on.
Hey, man, anytime.
At the Justin Fisher on Twitter. If you ever need something sassy, tweet it at you. Tweet something at
I'm
Justin.
particularly
He's
sassy.
very sassy.
You're never coming on again.
So sassy.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.